Hello, Odyssey. Yes, I seem to attract the lunatics, which is weird because I'm a lunatic myself, but these people make me look sane. And anyone who makes me look sane, Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth. Haven't been following too much news the last day or two. I don't know what all kinds of fucking evil Trump's been getting up to. I'll have to catch up soon. I'm sure he's done plenty. I think Tommy and Ian are going to have to fight for who gets my homosexual desire. There can be only one. Tommy, if you're watching, you can come back on if you want, but you have to let other people talk and you can't insult people constantly. We can't have that. It kind of defeats the entire purpose of a show. As always, you can attack me all you want as long as you're letting other people talk, but you cannot attack other guest members on panel. It's a beautiful thing. It's also very ambiguous. Like, you ask like 5 people what constitutes a perv, and you're going to get like 5 different answers. There might be some overlap, but it's not really pinned down. I think for Tommy, it's just anyone who doesn't abide by traditional shit. Like, if you're homosexual, you're a perv, which is it's kind of a meaningless way of defining it. Kind of dumb in my opinion. Although I'll let him speak for himself on that. Oh yeah, might want to put up the damn link. All right. I'm still in the middle of watching this really long interview with Belle Delphine. She's an interesting individual. Nice halo? What do you mean? I don't get it. Oh. He would say that it is a false halo. that I'm LARPing. Homosexuals cannot have halos. It's not possible. Let me see what kind of background music we have. Night driving. Seems like Tommy is coming up. Let me stop this real quick. Hello, Tommy, my good friend.
How do you do, Trobs?
I can't complain. How about yourself?
A little troubled. A little troubled.
Why is that?
What's going on in the world and how I was. I do have to apologize. Last time I was on, I got a little angry at the end, and I said some mean stuff.
It happens.
It's because of the fake Christian really got me mad. The fake Christian Andy, and I felt like you were appeasing Andy and taking his side when I made some real good, valid points.
Okay. So let me explain from my perspective.
Okay.
In no way was I defending Andy. So I don't take sides. The reason why I had an issue is not because of the points you were making. It's because you were attacking Andy with insults.
And Andy was attacking me with insults too.
You were, but you did start it. And you kept pushing it on. And when Andy would back off and he would just be like, "Oh, okay," or whatever, it would pause, and then you would jump back in again. Like
false jobs. I was making my points that how can you be a conservative Christian if you frequent gay bars? And Andy didn't like that, so he started throwing ad hominem insults. So I started calling him what he is, a backslider and not a conservative Christian. And those are pretty valid points. And I felt like you were pro Andy because maybe Andy is more pro-gay and stuff, because I'm not for the gay stuff.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with gay, but I will admit that interpretation of what constitutes an insult is subjective. So maybe, but like.
So you concede to my point
I
that
can
you were.
I can see, not necessarily. I can see that it's
You just
subjective.
did, Trob. You just conceded to my point
No,
that
I didn't.
I was making factual points about Andy not being a conservative Christian.
It wasn't. Okay. If what you did is you were like, you can't be a conservative Christian because XYZ.
Yes,
I wouldn't.
very true.
Hold on. That wouldn't be a problem. It was the way you went about it. So again, you admitted that you got emotional, which is fine. I get emotional sometimes. It's human nature. But what I mean is you didn't do so with just pure premises. You did so by screaming and getting angry and calling him names and stuff. And that's different.
I was calling him what he was as a non-conservative Christian and a fake Christian, because you cannot be. It's like saying you're a vegan, but you just had a hamburger.
Okay. So right?
What I would. How can you be a conservative Christian is my point.
Well, many people
frequent gay bars.
Many people would make the claim that being anti-homosexual has nothing to do with being Christian. In fact, I've made a video on the matter. So
I don't agree with that.
I know, and that's fine. It's fine that you disagree, but the point is, you can't take your interpretation and go like, this is a fact and you are fake. And like
Andy is fake. No, I'm sorry.
You can word things in a different way. You can say, I think that you can't call yourself Christian. That's different than being like fake Christian, backslider.
But that's what I was saying. A backslider is what you just said.
But it's different. The way you word it is different.
Trobs. Well, what do you want me to word? I'm not a wordsmith, Trobs. I see it like I call it as I see it.
All I would ask, all that I ask is that you try to focus not on insulting and just focus on the premises. Like if you had, again, the point that you're making now is fine and you can say it, but don't just cut people off, which you were doing repeatedly.
He was cutting me off too, Trobs.
Not to the same extent.
Yes, he was calling me. Oh, he was calling me gay. Here's a funny thing: you guys defend sodomy, but you insult me by calling me gay. That's what he was doing. It's just such a funny thing.
No, 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 no. Okay. So with Andy, I can't speak for him, but I'll speak for me because I did something similar. My point is not that when we're pointing out that there's commonalities between homophobic people and homosexuality, which is, by the way, proven by the literature, doesn't mean you are gay, but it does mean that there is a correlation. So
But
when I point that out, I'm only pointing out that it's ironic that you have this big issue with homophobia or homosexual people, which isn't even an issue. It's a non-issue. Who cares?
it goes
Yet,
against the Bible.
yet you are more likely than your average person to be homosexual
How
based
is
on the
that?
research.
How that makes no sense. If
I
was
can pull up the
homosexual, wouldn't
research
I
if
be
you would
proud
like.
of it? Wouldn't I be proud and be joining you up here for a rainbow fest?
No, because you also have this identity attached to Christianity, and you believe that homosexuality is wrong, so you'd have to fight against it.
Okay, but if I was a secret homosexual, I wouldn't be a Christian no more, right? Like I would be like, okay, I'm part of the rainbow team.
There's
It's funny that these
many.
always go to those insults. So you are actually acknowledging that sodomy is bad.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. When you're trying to insult me, calling me a closet Ricky Yoon, Fanuc, which in Italian that means gay, you're actually agreeing with me that it is
No, I'm not.
undesirable to be a sodomite.
So you're straw manning my position. So what I'm doing is saying I don't give a shit about whether you're gay or who's gay or whatever. My point is
I'm against
that
it. I don't
my
want
point
to hurt
my
them.
point is that the literature points to homophobic people being
What
more
literature?
likely.
What communist literature from the Franklin School are you
Communist.
spewing, Trobs? What communist Marxist literature?
So hold on. I've got Andy in the backstage here, and I'm gonna let him.
I will tell you this, Trobs. If he starts screaming and insulting me when I bring the pain, don't throw up the white flag for Andy.
If both of you scream, then I will deal with it appropriately. I won't just take one side.
Okay, teacher.
So what the
Principal
research?
Trobs.
So what?
Principal. That's your new name, Principal Trobs. Okay. I'm ready, Principal.
So the reason why
bring on the misfit.
It's literature. Hold on, let me finish my point first because this might get a little unhinged. In fact, it probably will. So the reason why it has nothing to do with communists, blah blah blah, is it's entirely just neutral observation. So what they did, and this is going to sound a little crazy, and that you're homophobic, you're probably not going to like it, but what they did is they measured penile circumference with males that were subjected to homosexual porn. And what happened is the people that were the most homophobic, that hated and were so vile about it, were more likely for their penis to get erect while watching this.
And where did they? What kind of test was this? And where would they do this test? Would they take 5 freaks off the street and make them watch sodomy?
I would no. This isn't a very.
I don't believe in that test, Trobs. I think that test is total bull.
I think that you don't believe in it due to confirmation bias, because you don't like anything that goes against your worldview.
But my worldview is God, and what
I know.
I'm the normal person here. You must be saved. That's why. Here comes Andy again. Andy, will you concede that at least that you cannot be a conservative Christian if you hang out in gay bars?
That's incorrect. And you called me a misfit beforehand. Let's be polite, okay?
No, I am. I'm being polite, and I am saying that there's no way you can be a
conservative. Don't do that, please. You did it already earlier. But I disagree with you, and I agree with the studies.
Why do you disagree that conservative Christians cannot go in gay bars and still be conservative Christians?
Because I need for Christianity. I'm saying it's wrong. I'm just telling you what I do.
Well, I didn't even understand. Did you understand?
You're kind of breaking up, Andy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Basically, what I'm saying, I do like a lot of people. I take a given religion and shape it to my needs. So, it doesn't seem like I'm hypocritical. That's all. It's fairly common practice.
Well, I would say more than it just being common practice, I don't think anyone is an example to the contrary. Everyone cherry picks. Everyone.
No, that's bullshit. Not
You
everybody
cherry
is
pick.
cafeteria Christian. Not everybody. Some people really go by what the Bible says. Don't be a sodomite.
Okay, so with that, do you think that slavery is okay because the Old Testament does?
No, I don't believe any
Exactly.
human
So
should
you're
be
a
in
cherry picker.
shackles.
So
No,
you cherry pick.
no, I don't believe any human should be in shackles, and we shouldn't enslave other human beings.
The Bible says otherwise, so you are cherry picking by definition.
I don't believe the Schofield Bible.
See, exactly. So you choose.
No, the Schofield Bible tribes was made up from a bunch of communists, and you're trying to bail Andy out on the points that I'm
No,
talking.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay. You guys go ahead and
Tommy.
continue, and I'll be quiet for a moment.
Thank you,
How's that?
Tommy.
Tribes. Thank
Tommy,
you.
can I ask you a question about the Bible you believe in? Is oral sex considered sodomy in your world?
Is what?
Oral sex.
Oral sex.
With a female? No, but you shouldn't be doing any kind of gay things with boys.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Why? What does that have to do with what is making love to a woman or having sexual things with a woman have to do?
Do you want to know the rationale for my question? Well,
Yes.
for the longest time in Louisiana, along with anal sex, oral sex was against the law.
Okay, but what's that?
And I'm wondering if it was biblically based. That's all.
Well, I'm not a Bible scholar. I am a devout Sedevacantist Catholic, and I don't believe in sodomy. And my point is that you cannot be a conservative Christian and go in gay bars. Why were you hanging out in gay bars?
So let me ask you this: what you just said, it sounded like you were actually unsure about the oral aspect. That's what I gained from your little speech there.
All right, how?
Are you sure? Are you unsure? It's simple, Tommy.
Sure about what? I don't even know what you're talking about. Going back to oral. No, if you have oral sex with a dude, you're a friggin' Ricky Yoon. You're a Finook.
Okay, but with the female, it's okay.
If your wife performs fellatio on you, you're not going to hell, okay? But if you decide to go in a gay bar and hook up with Lewis or whatever, some weird guy, and that is a phenoikism, that is a sodomite.
So it's safe for me to believe that your Bible says oral sex from a woman to a man is allowed.
You're totally evading my talking about you in a gay bar all of a sudden. All right, can we ask this? Why were you at the gay bar? How many times did you go in the gay bar?
Everybody knows. It's an
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay, listen. So next time you don't have to ask me. I can't count how many times I've been in a gay bar. And I've been in a tranny bar. I don't know how many times. I've been in. Listen, let me finish. I've been in a lesbian bar maybe 2 or 3 times. Man. Now, don't ask me anymore. You got the scoop.
How are you a conservative Christian? Because Christians do not go into sodomite bars and Decepticon bars.
I believe in a nuclear family. I believe that's conservative.
Well, then you are not a conservative Christian.
That's by your definition.
The definition is a conservative Christian says.
No. No, listen. You're trying to determine that I'm not conservative by what you feel because I'm homosexual. No, it doesn't work that way, Tommy. You don't get to dictate. Listen, I believe in what I believe. I believe in the First Amendment, Tommy. You can't take that away. You cannot take that away from me. As an American, you should know that. If you don't like my branch of Christianity,
so you're not a conservative. So once again, Tommy wins. You're not a conservative Christian.
Sure.
So why don't you just say that?
Want to win all you want.
Well, then say you misspoke. You should have never called yourself a conservative Christian. If you want to have this weird little sect of
by the way, I think you can hear me. Look, you know me. I mean, look. I personally am not gay, okay? Like I give a fuck who is. I mean, look at me and height. But anyway, what you were saying earlier about that study is a fact, Drops. I'll back you up on that.
All right,
I think little Dinky Winky here would get swollen up a little bit.
Changing the
And look,
subject.
some people get paid to do those studies.
All right, but how about this? Forget about the study, right? Let's get back to why Andy is not.
No, I'm on the topic of the study.
So
How about you forget about all this gay shit?
Can I finish
this is all the time.
Can I finish my point?
Gay this, sodomy this, sodomy that, blah, 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 blah. Look, you can't tell me if you've ever had sex. You cannot tell me if you've ever had sex, you didn't touch a chick's butthole. I'll call you a fucking liar. If you tell me you never touched a chick's asshole, you got issues, bro. You are a closet faggot.
See, once again with the insults, you started the insults. When I come in,
no, dude. I don't care, dude. You're gonna sit here and try to play your games with me, and then dictate the rules of engagement. Fuck
he doesn't want to argue. My point was that you cannot be a conservative.
You ever watch a chick's asshole when she's coming? When you really make a chick. When you really make a chick come, her asshole will throb. It'll pulsate in and out, in and out, in and out. That's how you know they really get
guys, it's kind of both of you at this point.
No, it's not. It's him.
Hold on. Both of you are talking over each other.
He's going off.
I'll let Audie speak.
My main point was, and he conceded to that he's not a conservative Christian. He has his own branch of Christianity where he can go in gay bars and all that. Fine. Right. Don't call yourself a conservative Christian. Tommy loves God.
I'm going to call myself conservative. I'm going to call you a closet fag.
Whatever.
There it is. You can disagree.
Tommy
you
loves
can
God
disagree.
For the W.
You can disagree. You can disagree. You're a faggot in your mind. It's just as bad as somebody out there fucking a dude.
When you lose the debate,
don't fucking play with me. You're a closet. Everybody knows it.
Hey,
it's so fucking obvious to you. Right now. It's so fucking funny. It's funny, Tommy.
No, I beat you on that point.
Everybody knows.
I exposed you for not being a conservative Christian, as you call yourself.
I'm exposed. You exposed me. I'm not a conservative. Okay, what am I? What am I? What am I? What am I? What would you call me? What am I? Some kind of faggot lover? Come on, put a label on me, bro.
Hold on a minute.
Label me, Tommy.
I will
put a
tell
label
you this.
on me.
Yes, you were been into many gay bars you can't count, tranny bars. You must be a secret gay lover. Of course you are. What are you talking about? You're calling yourself a conservative Christian for weeks on here, and all of a sudden now you're not again because Tommy wrecked you. Tommy loves God wrecked you, and so now you're making.
You win every time I come across you and face you. You win. It's the same shit every time. Fag Christian. I'm not a closet fag. Every time I come across you. That's how you win. It's the same shit, Tommy. It's boring. It's getting old, bro.
No, it's not getting old. I came up here and without no ad hominem, intellectually defeated you in this debate.
No ad hominem. What are you fucking talking about? You fucking joke.
That's a coping. You're coping right now.
Did I ever say that before? I don't want to keep repeating myself.
You said you were a conservative Christian before. You used to say that. Tommy loves God. Did you retract that right now? Now you're some weird branch who loves sodomy. You can be that way. Just don't call yourself a conservative Christian. Because God lovers like me, warriors of God,
you don't get to dictate how I see myself.
Well, yes, I get to. I do get to.
I can be a gay, loving, fucking conservative.
No, you can't. No, you're going to get this too.
I sure can. I sure can, Tommy. No matter how much you hate it, I can, because I do.
You lost
Tommy.
the debate, though. You lost the debate. And Trav knows it,
you
too.
got a trophy. Trophy for you. Trophy for everybody. Trophy for everybody but me. Now you're happy, Tommy. You win again.
I just want
to look. You might as well get a trophy for next week. because everybody knows you're going to win next week. So go ahead and pick up next week.
Nothing. I just want a stupid argument where you tried to say you were a conservative Christian, and all of a sudden now you're backsliding, backpedaling that you're not a conservative Christian. Your own little sect.
I'm not backsliding shit.
Well, then don't
backsliding shit. All you're doing is over talking me with your own claims about me.
No, you made a claim that you were a conservative Christian, and I just proved that wrong and made you turn back and say, no, I'm not a conservative Christian. I'm a little sect of Christianity that loves little gay dudes.
I'll point out one thing.
What the fuck is going on here?
I love mankind. I do love gays because I love mankind.
You love men.
Absolutely. You don't? Well, fuck you. If you don't love mankind, then fuck you and anybody else.
No. That's not what you mean, though. You know.
Fuck you.
From my perspective, this is one thing that Islam has an edge on Christianity over. When it comes to unity, Islam actually makes it where you can't claim that other Muslims are not Muslims.
Finish, Andy. Let the
hold on. What?
In Islam, you cannot claim that other Muslims are not Muslim, and I think that is a plus over Christianity, personally. But
aren't they divided into like two sects, like
Shia,
Sunni,
Al-Whitey, many sects?
Aren't they like radically different from each other, though?
Yes, but they can't claim that the opposing are not Muslim. No, they can't.
I don't know. I think one of them wants to kill the other one.
Yes,
they do. But I would say, okay, this is how.
I mean, it doesn't get any more divisive than that, in my opinion.
But it's actually in the Quran, which means these people that want to kill each other that are Muslim are, from their perspective, which is basically what Tommy's doing here, they're not actual Muslims, because if that's
the problem, because those two sects are basically formed out of two different perspectives on the same book. True. That's the problem with that. Which is where all these denominations are coming from, basically.
Yes.
Unless they're adding or taking away books, which is totally separate.
And so they do, other Muslims do look at other Muslims as not real Muslims.
What is going on? Is Andy basically saying he's gay and then he's Christian? What's going on?
I'll say
what do you think, JT?
I don't know.
Without Andy yelling.
What do you think? You think I'm gay? Do you think I'm
gay,
JT?
Look, man, if you were, it wouldn't make any difference to me. One way or the other.
Don't worry about it, then.
I don't care if you are. I just don't know what is that. What's argued right now? Is that what's being argued?
I can explain the argument.
Tell me about that.
No. Is he saying you can't be? Is he saying you're not Christian because you're gay? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm saying he can't be a conservative Christian if you go to gay bars. Andy always says he's a conservative Christian.
What's he doing in gay bars? I don't understand.
Well, that's my point, is you can't be a conservative Christian if you're hanging in gay bars. That was my whole point.
What I just want to know what he's doing in there. Like what?
I don't know. Well, what do you think he's doing in there?
I don't know. The guy says he's straight. Like, I don't know what he's doing.
If you think he's straight, I'm going to sell you a bridge in Brooklyn. Okay.
But Tommy, this is the point I want to make. So this is the perfect example, because JT is a Christian, right?
No, he's not. Oh, JT.
Yes, he is. But he
thought you were going to say him, Andy.
Yeah. Okay, no. So, Andy is too, but still, look. This is the point I'm making. You're three different kind of flavors of Christianity, but JT is not obsessed with homosexuality.
Neither am I. I just don't.
Yes, you are. You are. You're homophobic, dude, which means you're more likely to be homosexual based on the literature.
Look, if what he's saying is that Andy is gay, then I'm with him on that. If he's going to gay bars, then yeah. Like, if that's what he's trying to say.
I don't agree with that. I don't think someone goes to a gay bar, they're gay.
I'm just saying he's going to.
What do you know?
He just walked in a bar, realizing.
I'm just saying, man. I don't think a lot of straight dudes would necessarily be going out of their way to go to a gay bar, unless their girlfriend was going or something. You know, that's different. But
well, he didn't. Well,
I don't know if that. But yeah, context.
You just said it. You don't know. So think what
well,
you
that's
want.
The thing. Is your girlfriend taking you there?
I'm not going to correct you for anything. You
He
gotta think what you think.
No, I mean the context matters. You know, it matters. I'm asking, are you going by yourself or are you going with a girl?
Listen to this. I'm gonna give you a good, nice sound bite. My name's Andy, and I go to gay bars. There you go,
that.
JT. All for
No,
you.
that's great. I understand that. I understood that, but I'm saying, are you going by yourself? Are you going with a lady, or what's what's going on?
Explain to you. Tell me why.
Because you're
Hey,
in
you know what? If you don't feel comfortable explaining it to me, it probably that enough alone, kind of tells me what the answer is. So that's fine. That's fine.
There you go.
Hey, that's fine. Hey,
good. My whole point.
I'm not busting your balls, man. If you're gay, I'm not busting your balls.
Don't look. I'm gonna start thinking you're gay if you keep talking.
Hey. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you think that. Hey, I'm not trying to out you right now. Hey, relax. I'm not trying to yank you out of the closet. Hey, relax.
All right, JT, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. My whole beef with Andy was he was calling himself a conservative Christian, and he said that he goes in lots of gay bars and even transgender bars. So I'm saying, how can you be a Christian going into them bars? And most likely he is a closeted gay or
I mean, I'm less questioning his Christianity and more just his sexuality in general. But the thing is, he can say he's a Christian, and anybody could say they're anything almost. But
you're not really one, though. He's not.
I mean, the thing is, look, man. I think what you're really asking him is, are you gay?
No, not that. If he was a queen, he's a queen, right? Okay, no problem. But my point is,
I think what you're asking is, can you be gay and be Christian at the same time? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Conservative Christian, you cannot be a conservative Christian.
Well, obviously, yeah, I wouldn't consider going to gay bars like conservative type behavior, but I don't know. Now, are we splitting hairs now? I don't know. Maybe, maybe. But then again, I've heard of a lot of gay people that have otherwise conservative values. So there's a lot of shit out there, basically.
Yeah, very true, and they're throwing it around in that bar.
Maybe he's a gay conservative that identifies as Christian. I don't know.
Maybe, but you can make a pretty good argument that there's no such thing as a quote true conservative Christian.
Oh, yes, there is.
Let me explain. Hold on. The reason why is because everything in Christianity centers around the teachings and the ways of Jesus Christ, who is the most left-leaning person in history. This is how can you deny that? Everything the man was about is as left-wing as you could possibly get.
Are we saying he's like a communist hippie or something?
Essentially, yeah. Like he turned the other cheek.
Man, as far as I know, Jesus still. As far as I know, the guy was not political. He didn't talk about politics.
No. So politics isn't just arbitrary.
You're talking about value systems, really. If we're boiling it down to what are we talking about? Yeah,
that's exactly what we're talking about right now. So it's about turning the other cheek, love thy neighbor, as opposed to go destroy people. Let's kick people out because they look different. Like everything is.
I'm talking about sodomy, tribes, not color of people.
Jesus never said anything about homosexuality, period, at all. None.
Sodomy is wrong, tribes.
That's your opinion. That's not anything the Bible says.
But I don't know if you're going by the Levitical law, like the old law that they were given to the Jews. I'm pretty sure it was mentioned in there that you don't do that. But
so I can actually explain.
But if you're talking about if you're talking about Christianity, which is not Judaism, they're going by like a second covenant that was established by Jesus. I don't think that necessarily wiped away what was previously established, but it was like. I don't know, and that's a cause of division. Like even with a lot of Christians, they're like, well, basically, can you just live your life however you want to, and just say you believe in Jesus and and you're cool with God, or do you have to follow a bunch of strict rules, and that's how you're cool with God? It's
rules. You got to
follow and it depends depending on what type of Christian.
And that's a subject of debate even today amongst Christians. So it's that's not so cut and dry.
I come from the true Christian church. I'm a sedevacantist. I come from the true Christian church, the Catholics, the original.
I'm sorry. What are you saying, Andy?
No, I'm asking Tommy if he thinks you're conservative.
He thinks I'm conservative.
I don't know. I haven't heard JT too much, so I don't know. He sounds like a much decent human being than you, Andy. You use the grounding. I know who I'm throwing the rope to. If there's two people drowning, Andy and JT, I know who I'm saving.
Look. I'm not saying Andy's a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Well, I don't have to say that. I'm not saying he's an evil.
I don't know the guy like that.
You have no idea about my sexuality.
All I'm saying is maybe he's you know, maybe he identifies as conservative. Maybe he has conservative values, but he's also gay. You know, there's a lot of like I said.
And I'm a Billy Goat, okay?
Maybe I'm a liberal straight guy. Like
I don't look.
I can talk about your sexuality.
You read me over the internet, JT. You read me words. Are you fucking kidding me?
You look like a woman anyway.
Look, man. Look,
you're smarter than everybody, JT. You read me.
Relax. We're chill. Hey, relax. I didn't say I was. I didn't say I was better than you.
Hey, JT, don't keep stroking me. It looks gay.
I'm not. No, what you just said sounds really gay. And listen, I'm not.
You think I'm gay?
That's my point. Once again, all the gay trops he goes to, little trops and shit. He hung out many gay.
I told him. I said I don't care if you're gay. I don't. It doesn't affect my life. Like what?
No,
I don't.
Drop it.
Hey! I just happened to come in at that time when that was being discussed. I don't.
Well, that's good. Well,
JT, can you agree with this?
I'm not busting your balls for that. I didn't say anything.
If I told you I hung out at a ranch,
look, JT, your opinion is meaningless to me.
I didn't give my opinion. I didn't give it. Yeah, I didn't give it. I'm sorry. Did you want me to?
There you go. There you go. You didn't give it. Okay. Sure, JT.
You are low Q ignoramus, Andy.
So if we want to get into the actual scripture in which most of this is based on,
look, man.
Tommy, you need to dumb up your language. You need to.
I'm not the one insulting you.
Your audience.
You're a sodomite, dude. You
sodomite.
You can't talk about your sexuality because you've been gay bars, tranny bars, and you keep talking about his prick. What else am I supposed to think when he's gay?
Dude, just because I talk about a chick's asshole does not make me a sodomite.
Because he did what? What did he do to her,
Tommy?
Everything is gay.
Look.
Gay bars. Come on, just admit it.
Okay, he's dropping all kinds of gay breadcrumbs, but clearly he's not comfortable identifying as gay right now, not publicly. So just let him be. You know what I'm saying?
I like that he's dropping gay breadcrumbs.
There you go.
Look,
cut me some slack.
Some people are not into the labels and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I guess we're talking about labels.
Well, then my point is he shouldn't come out and call himself a conservative Christian if he's dropping rainbow fucking breadcrumbs. We know what he is.
He could be maybe a conservative gay.
You know
what conservative means?
Dude, I've heard of trannies and gays that identify as
tell you what it meant to me, and you shut me up. So you did a good job. You shut me up and announced yourself the winner.
Sweet little pig right here. You got a crush on this sweet little hooah? You just let him talk over people.
Dude, you do it all the time, Tommy, and it's kind of happening at the same rate right now.
He brought an apple to the teacher because he knew he did this. He's always mad when class was dismissed, but when it wasn't session, Andy was in there trying to get an erection. Because Andy's like,
where's that little weirdo that follows you around? What's his name? Ian? Does that guy ever come up?
Just now popped up.
I don't know that guy. Why does everybody say me? Or Ian, fuck you. You look like that guy from Candace.
No, I'm not saying you're Ian.
No, at one point,
Ian is a fucking atheist Jewish dude who debates people on fucking.
He's not an atheist. He's
actually
an atheist Jewish dude.
He's some atheist Jewish guy who debates and
Whoa! Yeah, I would assume if he was atheist, he'd be a little bit cooler with Rob. He really does not like Rob.
I don't
really dislikes me.
The last 4 times I came on here, they're telling me I'm Ian. My last name ain't.
No. I'm not saying you're Ian. No, I said where the fuck is Ian? Does he come up?
But people have said that before.
I didn't think you were Ian. No.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No,
then.
I agree with Ian. If the
Ian
dude's
another
talking about hanging out
homo?
at gay bars, he's probably gay. I'm just saying,
Oh, yeah, he is right. All right. Ian's right.
No,
Me
and
and Andy,
that's just an obvious connection you're gonna make.
of course, and that's why I think that Andy is
Yeah,
like a
it's
stupid
a
man.
reasonable assumption. It's a reasonable assumption, but an assumption nonetheless.
it's an inference. No, it's not an assumption. It's an inference. We can infer
Yes.
that.
Okay, so as long as you're admitting that
It's
it's an
just your
inference,
opinion.
No, it's not.
Hey,
an
it's not an opinion. It's
You're
an inference.
inferring that I'm
Call it an
homosexual.
educated
I
guess.
got it.
if he's
I
talking
got it.
about
Hypothesis.
It's an
Listen, on what
inference.
you said. If I told you I worked on a farm, I till fucking soil and work with cows, you might call me a cowboy or a rancher, right? And I can't argue with that, right?
I would
So you're telling me
I want to kind of hear Trump's take on this.
I would call farmer.
sweet to Andy, sweet on Andy.
Okay, Trump, what do you think about this,
I would
man?
have called you a farmer, man.
I'm honestly
or a
kind of
gardener.
letting it go because I'm wanting to kind of divert a little bit. I want to get into more the
Yeah,
root.
more into the meat and potatoes
Yes,
of it.
I want to get into the root of this, which happens to go back to scripture if you're a Christian.
The root goes
So-
back to, and it's in Andy's hand in the gay
Hold
bar.
on. Let's.
And
dig
I
into
think
this
we were
real
just
quick.
talking about that basically. Like, are they going by the Old Testament, or are they going by the New Testament, or what's the difference?
So a lot of people, what they end up going back to is Sodom and Gomorrah when it comes to homosexuality. And I want to point out that Sodom and Gomorrah does not show that God had an issue with homosexuality.
Yes, he did.
What? No, hold on. You can make your case in a moment. Just let me finish. So specifically, what the issue was the infidelity and the just going around and having sex, and that was the issue. Not
No,
specifically homosexuality.
Yes, sodomites too. Sodomites.
Hold on.
The debauchery.
Yes, exactly. So if you're going to make the case that it's homosexuality, and I'm fine with that, then point to specifically where it says that, please.
Sodomites.
Okay. So, because I'm no Bible scholar or anything, but I'm looking at it right now. Leviticus, man shall not lie with man.
Bingo.
So that there is it's a little bit ambiguous, don't you?
No,
think?
it's not, man.
I don't. You'd have to pull it out, and because, like I said, I'm not
I believe in the New Testament. I don't fool with the Old Testament
No,
too
you got your
much.
own testament. You got your own tranny testament.
Look, I'm just going off of
No,
Google Eastern, the
I
training
never
test.
heard of that one.
There you go.
I am curious what a Catholic Bible is.
All those bars you frequent.
No, you'd have to look at it when in the context, and I'm kind of looking at it right now because I'm curious myself, like what is it talking about here? But
Tommy, would you ever go on vacation in New Orleans?
So according to the Levitical law, which was Leviticus, like what the Jews used to go by before Christ and all that, they're saying like, no, you're not allowed to do that, basically. But there's a division here going on between like, is that still valid, or is Jesus like basically overlooking everything by grace and all that stuff? That's kind of the big debate in Christianity.
Exactly. And well, that goes to everything, because then you could go back to, is slavery okay? Is stoning your child for disobedience okay? Because
Everybody knows sodomy's wrong.
I think a lot of these things that people are talking about.
Wrong.
I think a lot of these things are going back to, like, again, the Levitical law, the Old Testament law, basically, which was specifically for the nation, like Jewish people at that time. It wasn't for everybody. Like Christianity is something that's considered to be for everybody.
Well, it's not for everybody.
Right.
For sodomites, not for these.
No. But Christianity is available to everybody, as where like being Jewish was like kind of for just like the nation.
They say they're the chosen people. They're better than everybody else. We're just goyim.
So
right?
my point would be, being that there's so many things that historically was shown in the Bible, which was a commandment or some sort of moral law that we no longer use, it is by definition cherry picking to focus on homosexuality when it's still up in the air.
I would say focusing on it. Yeah.
Well, no. But I'm not talking about everyone. Tommy obviously focuses on it. It's all he ever
because
talks
we have
about.
we have a guy who calls himself a conservative Christian. And
I think that's what he's hung up on, is the conservative part. Well, and again, I think we were just talking about, some gay people do identify, also have conservative values.
If I identified as a billy goat, that don't make me a billy goat. You know?
Well, you could. I think you could be gay and potentially have other conservative values. You
Like
could have
what?
mostly. I don't know.
Maybe
I've heard of. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. Like it's all. I know what you're saying. It's like contradictory, which I agree with you. It is by definition, but there are people who are gay,
maybe they
but
could
also, but otherwise would have more conservative values. I mean, to me, it is strange, but it happens.
It's an oxymoron, my friend, because you cannot believe in sodomy and stuff and say you're conservative, because what are you conserving? You know what I mean?
So
Yeah, it's contrary to what would be considered like conservative values.
Y'all been talking. I'd like to speak.
Yeah, let Andy speak real quick.
He's got an apple.
Trobs, just real quick. I want to make an observation about this Bible verse in Leviticus or whatever. This is how I look at the Bible, because all the bullshit I hear on the internet, when it fits the argument, it's true. When it doesn't fit the argument, it's a fable. So you know what? I take it all as a fable.
All right,
This didn't happen. This didn't happen. Oh, but this is true.
Then don't call
Come
yourself
on, it's all or nothing in this one. That's what I say.
But is that any different than any? Like, so
well, I agree, all or nothing.
Of course.
So if it's all or nothing, then you don't ever question anything. Anything that has been said stands now, including stoning your own children.
Well, you have to look at it in context.
Then you get the cherry pick as you go
Well,
along.
no, I think where they're mistaking like Judaism, like old school Judaism, for like Christianity or what Jesus was talking about. They're like separate things, basically. Like there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of contention between the law and what they're calling grace of Jesus Christ.
But look, isn't everything we're talking about subjective or on a scale? Is it? Or is it not?
I don't think
technically
everything's equally subjective. You could make the case that some things are more objective than others, but the question is who decides and who's doing the interpreting? Who is the authority figure?
That's my point.
I mean, objectivity to us is more of like a concept. Like, unless we're talking about just raw data and shit. Like, but when it comes to things that our interpretations of things, that's all subjective. Like, so nobody can really say what the correct interpretation is.
Well, in my world, where I come from an Italian neighborhood with Catholics, Italians who are Catholic, who don't believe in sodomy, and people like Andy are the ones who spread HIV around because they act like they're heterosexuals, they date gay guys and bring AIDS to their girlfriends. He brings.
I had a blood test 6 months ago.
I don't care, but you're that type, though. I'm not
saying.
AIDS, right?
Look, there's definitely more AIDS within the gay community for sure. That cannot be argued.
They spread it.
I don't think anybody's arguing that. They got to get checked a lot more frequently.
And so, don't you agree then when these
I got a $50 gift card, JP. They bribed me with a Walmart card.
Right.
They gave you a Walmart card to get tested? Okay. Well, probably might have saved your life. You never know.
My point is, when you have
it saves them money too, though.
Andy talking over me, Principal Trobs. Okay.
You're boring, though, Tommy. Come on.
Hey, let him make his point. Let him make his point. What are you saying, Tommy?
Fuck you, JT. Fuck you.
It is fair.
My point is that guys, these so-called heterosexuals, like Andy called himself in the beginning, who say they're heterosexual conservative Christians, and they go to these gay bars, fuck around with dudes, and then bring the AIDS back to their girlfriends. These are the rottennest people.
Well, dude, that's fucked up. Anyway. If you're getting down like that, you should be getting tested, especially if you have a partner that doesn't know what you're doing. Like, that you're fucked up if you're bringing AIDS back to your fucking wife.
That's what those men do. That's what most homosexuals do.
Well, I don't know. I don't think most homosexuals have a wife and stuff at home. I don't know. I don't know.
So is there
Tommy, you're hanging yourself down, Tommy.
Dude, you're hanging yourself, bro.
So, Tommy, is there any data to back that claim? That's what most homosexuals do. Is that just
the closet?
I don't know. Maybe what you're talking about, they have to be more low key about what they're doing. Maybe you're talking about like the '80s when AIDS was new. Like they didn't know a lot of shit back then, But now
they still do it, bro. They're still closeted.
No, they're still getting down like that, but they're getting, they're being. I guess they're trying to. I don't know how they handle HIV. I'm not super.
Look at P. Diddy. Look at P. Diddy and all those down low rappers.
I know they can take it to suppress it if they have
Every one of them. Sorry to cut you
I
off.
know nothing. Why are you reading about P. Diddy? I don't know fucking shit
It
about
makes my
that.
point. It goes to my
molest.
point about sodomy and guys like yourself who swing both ways and then go home.
I've
And get
never read any of this bullshit. All I know is
is it Christian? I don't.
he's
I wouldn't.
a bad guy.
Yes, he's a down low homeboy like yourself. Use a down low, and we use.
Look, dude, as long as you keep making, as long as you keep bearing false witness, I'm gonna keep fucking with you, Tommy.
Yeah, but I destroyed your argument already.
Yeah, but okay.
And I'm
You
the
get
same
the
person. And that's coming from
your
the
trophy
insane
collection's growing. You're a closet fag. You're a homophobe, Tommy.
Well, dude, you're the
Andy, are you a Tommy Tribes? How you doing?
Dude, what's going on in this one? Hey,
I heard that JT goes out and gets his dick sucked every night.
And I
think you want me to. I think that's your fantasy right now.
Maybe so. Maybe I'm just insulting you. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of complex, JT. Figure it out.
I don't think it's too complex, man. I think you're not into labels right now. I think you're not into labels.
I know y'all gonna make me run away. Y'all gonna
hey. I'm not here to shame you about your sexuality. No, I didn't do that.
Your own cowardness makes you run away. We don't make
It's all about anti-sexuality. What's your hang up?
How am I shaming? I'm not even shaming you right now.
He's a little pussy.
It would be crazy for me to say that you're not projecting on this guy right now. Even if he's in the closet, you are too.
Like, let's talk about the weather. How about that? Let's talk about the weather.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Phoenix and bars because that's what he does.
You know what? I think we.
What are you gonna do? How many more? You gonna beat it to death? You want me to say it again, Tommy?
Tommy loves God is right, and I'm wrong.
I go to tranny bars.
Tommy loves God is right, and I'm wrong. Very easy.
There you go. Okay.
Very easy.
Now can we move on, Tommy?
Tommy loves God was right. Tommy was right.
Just let him like trannies. Like. Fuck.
No, I know he could do whatever he wants, but I'm just saying. Don't call me a liar and say I'm not right when I believe
JT, let me like trannies.
Let him fuck trannies and dudes. Like, why I don't see what.
But you cannot.
Why it doesn't affect your life? It doesn't affect my life.
No, it don't affect me. But I'm just saying he cannot call himself a fucking conservative Christian and.
I mean, he can call himself anything the fuck he wants to. It doesn't mean it's true.
I do like trannies and I do like men. The conclusions are up to you. Hey, conclude what you may.
I feel bad for your son.
What else is there to conclude? What are you? You just said it.
What else to conclude, you freak?
You're welcome, by the way.
What did I say to JT?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for saying I can.
I helped nudge you out of the closet. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
That's incorrect, JT.
We spent almost this whole time discussing.
Trump leaves
I don't.
He leaves his.
Can we get? You know what was interesting?
So you can go look.
Andy's a half-wit. That's why.
The objective morality. I think that's kind of where we're headed back. It all kind of
morality. You put that one again, JT. All these fucking bullshit catchphrases.
Catchphrases. It just means all that really means. It's just a fancy. Hey! I'm trying to tell you something right now.
Morality is on a spectrum. How about that? How about that?
Listen, man. All that means is that everybody agrees. I think there's.
I have to listen to you explain.
Why is he? I'm not trying to mansplain it to you. I know you're one of the gals.
Dictate what I do.
Hey, I'm not trying to dictate what you do, man. If you want to fuck trannies, that's your business. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what.
You're not here to judge my
I'm not judging you.
Yeah, but doesn't everyone judge everybody?
I'm not judging you. No, I didn't.
All right.
Dude, I'm trying to get to a point. I'm trying to make a point here.
Let JT make the point
with you.
He wasn't.
I'm not. It's not about you.
Andy,
everything's not about you.
He wasn't attacking you.
Everything's not about you. We're talking about something else.
He wasn't attacking you. He actually moved to the next level.
Get RFK out of here.
So, where are you going with objective? But
no,
Tommy, you don't have to damn make it worse by fucking insulting. So just
No, I saw that you'd made a little video, short video about it. It was shortly
Okay.
after you made the video about the the dilemma basically between like
Yes.
atheist values and Christian girl values and all that.
What what values does an atheist have?
It depends on the atheist.
Let
I
him-
think that
let
was
him
the
make
point of
his
the video.
How many different kinds of atheists are there? Like if you don't
Well,
believe
the thing is, like this, like
Yeah.
in Trop's case, he was like he wasn't really, he doesn't really agree with what am I trying to say? Promiscuity amongst women, and basically people just having casual sex. He's not really down with that.
Right.
And that would be considered more like a conservative value.
True.
And that I think he's running into the problem that a lot of these atheist girls, they're kind of slutty, and they're not really.
they don't have God in their life. Yes, they are.
Well, the thing is,
I don't think that's why.
they just like sleeping around, and it's
Yeah.
like
if they
Props
had
isn't
God in
really.
their life, they wouldn't be doing that.
I'm not saying all atheist girls are like that, but that's
No,
that's
not
an
all.
example of some that share different values.
There is a correlation. That is true.
But an
There's definitely a
atheist-
correlation for sure. That cannot be
Absolutely.
denied.
But
I
I
won't
want to
deny
ask
it.
you
But
guys.
it's easy
An
to jump
atheist
to that.
is-
It's
an
easy to
atheist
take that
is right.
correlation and jump to a conclusion, right?
That's
We'll
true,
both
and
get it.
that's
We'll
where I would
Okay.
intervene.
Okay.
Is that it's not
We-
because they don't believe in God, but there is a correlation for sure. But anyway,
Because their value systems don't agree with it. That's why.
that's
Yeah, but
true.
how many
So-
atheists could it be? If you're an atheist, it means you don't believe in God, right?
True.
An atheist to me is an all-consumption term. If you don't believe in God, you're a fucking atheist. What there's different little groups of these fanooks, these fucking
No.
So-
It just means that every atheist doesn't have all the same values. That's all. They all
Exactly.
agree that there's no God, but they don't all have the same
That's
values.
it. That's the only thing that links an atheist to other atheists is that's what
No,
makes it different than like a religion. So if you follow a religion, there are various tenets and other
There's no
things.
doctrine with atheism. I hate
Yes.
to cut you off, but there's no rules. It's just you
Yeah.
don't believe this.
Basically, yeah. So actually, you cutting me off basically just finished my point for me. So you're right. Yeah,
You're a
that's
little-
it.
Yeah, I'm a little more succinct. You're a little more long-winded, but we're saying the
That's
same
true.
thing. We're saying the same shit, basically.
So
But-
I like Trob's voice.
Yeah, sure.
It's
we
not
know
about my
Well, I know
voice,
you do.
it's-
Yes, you do.
Nothing wrong with his voice.
Of course
Andy's
I
stroking
do.
it.
I have a tendency to use a lot of words to say something that can be simplified, and that is true.
I have a tendency to try to do the opposite.
You sound good doing it, Trob.
Why? Thank you.
Wow. Look at this tranny.
This
Hey,
no,
Andy,
he's not a
hey,
tranny. He's a tranny lover. There's a difference. Tranny ally.
Tommy. Hey, JTQ again. I'm a
Yeah,
tranny
I-
lover, but not a tranny. Thank you, JT.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you identify.
Tommy,
You could.
do you
Well,
think I'm an
nowadays
atheist?
you could identify as trans, and you don't even have to have any hormone therapy or anything. Just say I feel like a
Listen,
woman.
JT, I love humanity, bro.
Me too.
I can't help it. I love
You love
humanity.
humanity.
guys.
You too.
You stick pricks in
Tommy,
your ass.
Tommy, do you think I'm an atheist, Tommy?
Yes, I think that you do not believe in
Okay,
God.
I thought so. I kind of
There's no
gathered
way
that.
you believe in God. You may say you do, but you don't. Your actions speak for you. You going into gay bars and transsexual bars, calling everybody gay, want to touch people's cocks.
I mean, I think they're saying that your preoccupation with gayness is sus, and his whole tranny bar thing is sus. Like he's definitely more sus.
Here's why, JT.
Oh,
this
it
is channel
depends.
right here.
I
Hold
think
on a
you're-
minute, Rob.
JT,
Go
I
ahead.
think your interest in
Please
it
make
all
my
is sus.
point. Why
I
I
think-
About that. Your
I make
interest
my
is
point
sus.
why I talk about the Fanuc stuff so much on here.
The Fanuc.
Rob is a guy who constantly talks about blowing other men, jerking off on here. He's got all these gay
Well, I
dudes.
don't think you'll say gay or
That's why I
homosexual.
fucking-
Fanuc.
that's why I call
Oh,
him.
wait, no, he has said homosexual. Yeah, Tommy. Go on, keep going. Keep
So I
going.
want to
Come on,
clear
man.
one thing up. We
Keep
each
this horse
every
some more.
single person here has different perspectives on this. So JT believes that Tommy he at least said that other people sees that Tommy might be homosexual due to the closet
How the
deal
fuck
because
am I
you're,
homosexual?
hold on,
I could see how it could
hold
be.
on.
I could see how
Exactly.
people could
Exactly.
construe it that
That's
way.
what I'm trying
Not
to
that it
say.
is.
Because I
Exactly.
told here,
But
I don't
hold
believe
on.
in
Let
it.
me
I don't
finish
believe
my point.
I think
You're
Andy's
getting-
basically
I
out.
know.
Like,
This is what I was about to say. So you're getting defensive, Tommy. Let me finish.
Well, because this is a channel where you literally jerk off and talk about blowing dudes.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
And
but
with
that's
all
the
these fags
point.
on it, so I can't come on here and call out fags.
No, you can perfectly fine. But
Well,
let
how
me
does that
finish
make me
my
a
point.
fag?
Let me
You know what I
finish
mean?
my point. So So JT was saying that like he thinks that it's more sus that Andy goes to gay bars, but that's not my position. My position is
Arguably, I'd say arguably yes.
okay, exactly. So that's fine, by the way. I'm not against it. It's just we all have different positions here. So I don't think going to a gay bar makes you more likely to be gay, because I know tons of straight people that go to gay bars
They're not
because
straight.
it's for various reasons. But like the point is that if you are
Thank you,
hyper
Rob.
fixated psychologically, if you're hyper fixated on homosexuality, like that's the thing that always, even when you're not talking about it in a conversation, you just keep bringing it up.
Because you got
That
Andy
means-
up here.
that means-
Thank you,
Andy up
Rob.
here.
That means you're more likely,
That's
according
not
to the
true.
literature, to be
What
homosexual.
literature? Communist Frankfurt School
I
literature?
can pull it up right now if you want me to.
And that's going to all right, we'll pull your literature up from some
I already
communists.
explained it to you, but if you want me to pull it up, I will.
You go ahead, pull it up, wipe
Okay.
your ass with it.
Wait, what are we pulling up right now?
Tommy,
Read
I'm
the
Tommy,
gonna be
comment.
did I
pulling up
tell you,
the
Tommy,
abstract.
did I tell you I love men, Tommy?
Yeah, you said that part. What are we pulling up right now?
I'm pulling up the abstract to a peer-reviewed study. But
About-
it's very short because it's just the abstract. So let's just look at
What's
that.
it about?
Ian very well knows this because I've posted it to him numerous times.
I'm not fucking Ian, asshole.
I know. I'm
No,
just
he's
bringing
talking
up
about
Ian.
Ian. He's talking about the guy in the chat.
That strikes a nerve, huh, Tommy?
Dude, I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want people to think I was Ian either. You know, no
Fuck
offense to
Ian.
you.
That's fair. So okay, it's fine that you cut off there, but okay. So let me read this really quickly. Is homophobia associated with homosexual arousal?
All right.
So this is going to sound funny, but this was actually done, and it was a neutral observation. No one was trying to
I'm
prove
aware
anything.
of it, Rob.
But here we go.
Doesn't
The authors
sound funny, it
investigated
sounds
the role
factual.
of homosexual arousal in exclusively heterosexual men who admitted negative effect toward homosexual individuals. That's called homophobia. Participants consisted of a group of homophobic men, N equals 35, and a group of non-homophobic men, N equals 29. They were assigned to groups on the basis of their scores on the index of homophobia. The men who were exposed to sexually explicit erotic stimuli consisting of heterosexual, male homosexual, and lesbian videotapes and changes in penile circumference were monitored. They also
How did they do
So
that,
they
though?
basically tested him to see if they get a boner by watching gay porn.
exactly.
What is this
How
shit?
did they do
So,
that?
so
Not
hold
just
on,
the
hold
How
on.
did they do that? They had a little fucking thing around their. They had a little thing around their
Exactly.
feet.
Yes,
Any
yes.
measurable growth.
Exactly. So
Measurable
Oh
hold
my
on.
god! Dude.
It's almost
I was
over.
trying to
Let me
listen to
finish
JT
this
and
first.
try.
Let
It's
me
nothing
finish
new.
this.
It's
Hey,
not
hey,
a
let him
new method
finish.
of
Let me
testing.
finish, and then we can
Look
discuss.
into
I already
it.
know where
It's
he's going with
nothing
this, but let him finish.
They also completed an aggression questionnaire. Both groups exhibited increase in penile circumference to the heterosexual and female homosexual videos. Only the homophobic men showed an increase in penile erection to male homosexual stimuli. The groups did not differ in aggression. Homophobia is apparently associated with homosexual arousal that the homophobic individual is either unaware of or denies. That's the end of the article. Now you
The
can
whole
discuss.
reason they're acting like that is because they don't want motherfuckers to know they're gay. It's fucking obvious.
Exactly, but the point is that
Yeah, but that's
that
30-something guys.
the
But the fact
correlation-
that they're doing that makes it look like they're gay. So it's basically a double-edged sword.
no,
Yes.
it's okay. It's that the association is with the correlation is with the hardcore homophobic people
And
that
they were gay
always
anyways.
talk
For
about
sitting
it.
down for that, Trop. For them to go into that thing, they're probably gay.
Yes, but
right?
but no, that's not true.
You know what's that? 30 people. So 30 men. They had 30 fags walk off the street and do a thing and let people tie some prick and watch gay porn.
They're obvious. They're
Look,
obviously
man, I
going
can't-
to
What
it.
you think about is that what you think about test sampling, Tommy?
No, I just
Are
think
you
it's
that
ridiculous.
close-minded?
What did the thing just say that it was only the fucking homophobic ones that were getting fucking hard-ons for that shit? What's it? How
Yes,
could it be only them?
No, not the only the homophobic one. Only the yes. Sorry, I got fucked up. It
Yeah,
was
only the homophobic ones are the ones
one.
getting hard-ons to the gay shit.
That makes
Why,
sense.
why would it just be only the hot? See, I question that too. You know,
So the
You have to
reason
question
why
everything.
it actually makes sense because
No,
you're
it
not going to be.
No, well, I'm just saying you got to question these things too. Why would it only be? You could say most.
Well,
even.
I can give you the answer
But
to that.
only?
At least in
Yeah,
my
only-
opinion, the answer
The
to
gay
that
guys
is
didn't get off on that.
it's worth
Right,
noting
that's
that
what I'm saying. Like you didn't happen to have anybody else in it. It was
worth noting that being homophobic is not the same thing as having a problem with gay people. homophobia is an extreme fear, right?
No.
So the
it was,
association makes sense because they're
30
projecting
dudes. That's
their-
right. I don't
Is
like
it even
gays.
is it even like a real phobia? I thought it was more like a what do they call it? Not phobia, but
Dude, when you take a
prejudice.
shit, do you want to
Prejudice
touch your shit?
against-
People are disgusted by feces. They're disgusted by those people too. And 30 dudes is not proof, like that idiot Ian just said. Real test theory, pal. Yeah, 30 people. And number one, any guy that would.
Well, I think where did they get these guys? You know, there's a lot unknown in that.
It is true.
JT's got a great.
Who is this test group?
Who are these guys?
It is an
Where did
abstract,
they
so there is
find
a
these
whole
men?
lot that.
Who are
that-
these men? Where did they find
Where did they get these
guy? What straight
When you
guy?
say an abstract, what does that mean?
So it's an abstract because it comes from a study. All an abstract
Yeah,
is
30
a
guys.
summary of a study. So I
Okay,
could dig
I'd be
into
curious to know the
actual-
details of that study. Yeah, instead
Okay,
of like
so
just
I
the
would
clip note
probably-
version. Like,
Trobs, you're not as
it
smart
would-
as you think you are. I'll tell you that.
Well, you haven't defeated
I don't think
it.
he's claiming to be, but at least he.
knows what the
Yeah, but
abstract
the whole thing
is.
he just brought up is crazy, JT. You sound like a normal heterosexual, right? Like what
Well,
kind of guy?
the first thing that comes to my mind is like, where the fuck did they get these guys? Like,
Exactly, right? Like, what
That's
kind of
fair. That's
and how could it
fair.
only be? Oh, how could it only be closeted gays in there? There's no openly gay motherfuckers in there. Like, what's going on?
exactly?
Man,
obviously
What kind of
they're
normal
wind up
dude?
on
Well,
faggot
hold on.
guys
They only grabbed 30 people, basically 30 on each side. The chances that they're going to get a gay person in that are slim.
And where'd they find these people?
No,
And
I'm just saying the chance that every gay person they got was a fucking what do they call homophobe? That's a little
Not
much.
only
Right?
that, what kind
Maybe.
of normal person
I
would
could
let
see
somebody
that.
hook Trobs, let me talk, please. What
Go
normal person would let somebody hook something up to their penis and watch gay porn? Of course, they're all fags.
Yeah, but so hold on.
Right, JT, am I right or wrong on
Hold
that?
on. Hold on. You're straw manning
That's
the
where your
whole deal.
taxpayer money going.
I don't know, man.
Tommy.
So if you
No, Tommy
if you
comes through with some
believe-
real shit right there.
if
That's
you
the truth.
I'm just saying. No, you
that
makes a valid
told
point there.
people-
You know?
Thank you.
If
Thank
you
you.
believe that
$6
they
at work.
told people that they
That's
were going
Tommy
to
beating
measure
up
their
the
penis
principal. Principal
and they
loses.
didn't already think
Good
about this,
man.
then you're crazy. These are professional fucking scientists that
Professional
are
what
dealing with
science,
it.
Trobs? You don't know these people. Like I said,
Hey man, you know what? They might not have been, and I would assume they weren't told what they were about to watch.
Exactly, which means
I would
it
guess.
wasn't biased. Like you're trying to make the case that they told people, "Hey, we're going to put this
Well,
little
no, I
thing
think they call
around
these
your
blind
dick."
studies where
No,
they don't
didn't.
tell them shit. Like they don't tell them anything. Like,
Exactly. Otherwise, it would be biased. They can't. That's
I
how
still
case
don't
studies
believe
well,
are
it's kind of
done.
like, hey, I mean, if they just grab a bunch of people at the street and we're like, hey, do you want to watch some fucking gay porno to see if
They
your
can't.
fucking
Yeah,
dick gets hard?
exactly.
They're gonna say no.
30 people.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're right.
30
So that's
people
why
Like,
they
want
dude,
don't
do you
do
want
it.
to make $2,000
The
Here's
point is,
my
I question it because it was because the word only out of
I
30
get
people.
that. So that's
Yeah.
a fair criticism. Like
And
I
30
could get why
people,
that
you're
sounds
gonna
a little
judge
sus.
society, Trobs, on 30 people.
But the point is, with or without that study, it's obvious that somebody's fucking constantly bashing gays or saying, that they're not gay. It's gonna look sus.
Yeah, listen, I don't hate gay.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think I would never
A little
hurt a gay
sus,
person. If a gay person was getting jumped and beat up, I'd help them. I don't hate gays.
I
like
don't
that.
believe that.
I think
No,
they're
but
going
it just
to
seems
hell.
like overcompensatory. Like you're
I think
over.
they're going to hell. I think they're going to hell. With every part of my body.
Tommy, would you grab my poo-poo hand?
No, I would not. I would save somebody because I'm a Christian. I do care about humans. If I seen some fag drowning, I'd throw him a rope. That's about it. But I'd also tell him he should go get that fagism off him and go to church. I just don't like sodomites. I would never hurt one. I've never beat them up, attack them.
You
why do
don't
I
like
talk
them,
about
but
it
you
on
don't
here?
want to hurt
Because
them.
This is Sodomite City. Besides JT, Sodomite City, Trobs, and the other.
Well, you know how Trobs gets down. The first thing I knew about this guy is he was making a video about me talking about he wanted to do a bunch of gay shit. Like I was like, who is this
Absolutely.
guy? Like,
Yeah, I don't hide it.
No, and that's why, and you're
100%
safe on
in
the
open.
internet because in real life somebody would knock your teeth out.
No,
They
they
don't have
wouldn't.
many teeth left, but
oh, no. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd fight him for that. But I mean,
well, so other people would. A lot of people wouldn't like him for that.
I don't think he would do that in real life. Like,
I actually do.
Maybe.
I've done it many times.
You do what? Done what? Go up to people and talk gay to them?
Yes,
You wouldn't do that in my
I used to
city.
do it. I used
You
to do
get
it at
beat
work.
down. You come up to one, you get beat up, dude. Go
That's
up to
not
real
true.
dudes. You must live in fairyland because anybody walking up to some real dude talking gay to them is gonna get punching them out.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I'm not going to knock him out or him for that, but yeah, I probably would.
In some fantasy
JT, let's
world.
say you're at a bar, you're hanging out. He walks up to you and says, "I want to do this and that to you." What are you going to say? You're going to be
It depends on what type of shit he's saying. Like, if he was saying the type of shit that he was saying in that video, like, yeah, I'd be like,
okay. It is true that I don't go that far in real life.
First you did. Now, first
I don't go
goes
that
up to
far.
everybody and tells him he wants to bang him in the ass, but now he doesn't.
No. I didn't say that. That's how you.
You know
took
what?
it.
I'm getting real sick of this side of my shit. JT, God bless you. These two sides of my very
did
angry.
he say that about you? Did
no,
he
but
say
this guy's
that
good.
about
I
you,
would like
Tommy?
him on.
It looks
Shit, I
like
need to
Tommy
get you on my
dropped.
channel. Oh shit, what happened? We lose him?
Either he dropped or I don't know.
I want to get that guy on my. He's a funny guy though. Like,
I'm sure he'll come.
I want to get him on my channel.
Trubs, did you have a topic tonight, or was this it?
No, this is unstructured. I know some people disagree. I prefer unstructured. It's so hard to keep shit on track because, especially me, I'm ADHD.
Yeah. Well, it winds up going off rail anyway.
Right.
It's kind of like the intentions are initially good, but it goes off rail. No, it's just repetitive with this guy, Tommy. It's, I've seen him. I think this might be the third time. It's the same bullshit over and over.
He doesn't like you. He definitely doesn't like you.
I don't know. JT, honestly, I think he might be sweet on me. That's what I'm starting to think.
Maybe the feeling's mutual.
Man, who knows? But I can't see a picture of him, so I don't know. It's kind of hard.
You're kind of into his voice, though. You like it when he talks. You like it when he calls you a fag. You.
Nah, not really. The guy over.
That's not Tommy.
He's too angry.
Oh shit! You don't like that? Maybe he's role playing. You never know.
Yeah, maybe he is.
Yeah, you never know. You never fucking know. Maybe you guys would be into that. Maybe you'd be into that shit. You never know.
Well, maybe you're role playing right now, JT.
maybe I am. Maybe I am.
The truth? Who knows the truth, JT? It's the internet. We can recreate ourselves.
You're role playing, right? Oh, that's great. But no, I think your video was like, is there? I think because it kind of broke into like, is there even an objective standard of morality? Is it possible?
Yes. So
how would we know?
I started with the point that, at least my premise is that the claim that only theists have objective morality is false, and then I explained why. But then I was like, so is it even possible to have objective morality? And that's an open question. So
I think what they have is these different religious and belief systems. They have a blueprint for objective morality. So it's at least agreed upon that according to those rules or standards, those are objective standards that they have.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that is the objective.
My moral majority, not yours, anybody else's. My moral majority.
Those are objective standards set out, but do they apply universally? Is the real question.
Well, within my group they apply. Now,
universally means that they apply to everyone, regardless of what they think or believe or anything else.
That would be truly objective. Can't we have subgroups, JT? Can it
We're not talking about group. We're not talking about group ethics. We're talking about something that's universally true, regardless of anything else.
So to be fair to theists here,
nothing's universally true.
Things get really muddled and confusing because there's two objectives here. In the context of objectivity, there's objective as in it applies to all people, which if you believe in a God, that is true. His commandments are objective because you are his creation. So that is true. That's objective. But there's a second objectivity, which is, does it apply to all people? And they
correct. That's what I'm saying. Is it universal?
You're right. You're absolutely right. So
I'm sorry, Trav.
Go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so from what I'm gathering, can there be an object morality for anybody? I mean, there's always going to be
the point is nobody's going to agree on what it is, even if it does exist. everyone's not going to agree on it because we're subjective.
Exactly.
Even if there is, and there very well could be, and we wouldn't agree on it. That's the thing. Like the Christians might be right, the Muslims might be right, whoever they might be right.
Well,
but we wouldn't.
I think there's always going to be a dissenter in any large subset.
Oh, of course. But so from the perspective of the first type of objective, which is God gave commandments and therefore they're objective, like you could still escape that because you would just say these are his commandments and these people are just blaspheming against his commandments. It's still objective morality.
Concrete. The one meaning of the word is concrete, and the other is universal. Basically,
right, exactly. That's a good way of.
The Ten Commandments is a good guideline. I see it as a good, basic, sound guideline. Nothing more.
I don't think it's perfect, but it's a good. If someone doesn't have any morality, it's a good starting point. Sure.
I think you can gain that in other religions.
I think people have an innate sense of right and wrong. They have their own conscience. Like everybody, I think, has that. Whether to different degrees. I think everybody has a sense. Like people know, like intuitively, if they're doing something right or wrong. If it's wrong to them, everyone might not have the same sense of right and wrong.
Right.
But if they're doing something wrong that's wrong according to their own standard, they know if they're doing that. Or not.
Like I think chewing gum in church is a sin, and not me particular. But if chewing gum is a sin and you're chewing in church,
well, yeah. The point is, people may have two different ideas of what's right and wrong to them. But if they're going against what they think is wrong, then they're doing something wrong by their own standard of right and wrong.
This is why I say I belong to my moral majority, which I believe may be the moral majority of this country. I may be wrong, because this kind of argumentation can go on endlessly.
It's true, but I still think that there's a point to it. Like we've made common ground. Like for example, I would say that JT and I, we both see things on opposite spectrums when it comes to the existence of objective morality. However, we could probably, correct me if I'm wrong, we could probably agree that it's problematic for people, whether theist or atheist, to have moral relativism to the point where they allow their morality to slide. That like it's not concrete. There's no foundation, but
no standard.
It's not
exactly.
Yeah, how about
so I think we can both agree on that.
It's subjective.
Well, even if it's
the thing is, with these different religions, there's actually a standard set out, whether it's interpretable or not. There's at least some standard set out, as where something like a belief system, like say atheism, is a lot more flexible as far as what's allowed or not, because it's all more. There's no rules, basically.
Right. So at that point, if you're an atheist, then you kind of you're obviously
you make up your own value system, basically, based on what you think is right or wrong.
To some extent. So you're still impacted by your environment, your family, and all of that good stuff. And that's why some people would make the argument that I disagree, but like America has, quote, Judeo-Christian values, even if you're not religious. And now it is true that even religion and the culture affects you, even if you're an atheist. Like there's no doubt.
Our laws are based on them, and the universal laws are based on Judeo-Christian values, because those things are kind of obviously wrong, like to people. It just happens to be. Like we know torture's wrong, we know murder's wrong, we know sexual crimes are wrong.
But I hear somebody like you say, well, it's subjective. But you say we're in agreement, then you're going to say it's subjective.
Well,
it's still subjective, because even if me and JT agree, we're two anecdotes on this huge.
Argue forever.
Well, the point is, if even one person doesn't agree, then it doesn't. The point is, if it's up to anybody,
I'm going by your argumentation.
Well, I'm covering kind of both angles, and what I'm talking about is a little abstract, not a lot, but a little bit. So it's not like pure black and white. But what I'm saying is, what we're calling subjective is basically like
it's subjective. It's not
what we're calling subjective.
Okay.
Well, what we're calling subjective is like what we think about, like our opinions about shit, our point of view on shit. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily what we're calling objective is something that is true regardless of anybody's opinions or thoughts or anything. And when you're talking about values, it's a little hard to get into like.
Moral majority is subjective.
Well, no, because even if people oftentimes confuse like majority with objectivity, and it's not. You know, you could have everyone in the fucking world agree that something's true, and if it's not,
Right.
you know, it's not. You know, it simply isn't.
As I said,
But
it's
because
subjective.
everyone subjectively thinks it is, people conflate the two when it's not. Majority
Right.
doesn't make
Right.
majority
Right.
consensus doesn't make something true.
Exactly. This kind of shit makes my eyes go blurry, but I know where I'm at.
I know, but yeah, what he's saying is there a way to know for people to agree or to know what's actually true, morally speaking? And the answer is no.
No, and then there's people that like to be disagreeable for the sake of being disagreeable. It's just like me. You know, I don't know. Thou shalt not kill. You know, does that mean I don't defend myself? Are there some, what do you call it, fundamentalists that are going to let themselves be killed rather than defend themselves against some little old lady?
Yeah, yeah, those kind of questions arise. Is something always wrong all the time, or are there circumstances where it's okay to do this or that or whatever? Those are questions, yeah, that we're left to ask. You know,
and that's where it gets even more subjective, because it's no longer extremely
well,
simple.
if there was an objective standard, it would still be up to the subjective person to accept or not accept. And so even still, we're absorbing something that may be true. We're absorbing it through our own limited subjective point of view.
It may not be true. Who knows? An observation, a perception.
Well, even the things that are true, we're still filtering it through our own subjective point of view, which
which means what's the point, you know?
Well, no, the point is to try to figure out what's true and what's not true. But when it comes to abstract ideas like morality and shit, it's a little bit harder.
Well, you can't. You can come closer. Like it is true that philosophers
we're trying to get at the idea of truth because we can't know what it is.
It's true.
It's just an idea.
The opposite is true. All I have to do is say otherwise, and then I believe it.
Well, no, that's the whole point of this conversation. Is because people are saying my truth. No, that what they're mistaking is perspective. My perspective, my point of view.
Well,
Well,
this
yeah,
is the,
you know,
I have a
that's
major
all, you
issue
know,
with that. When
that's an
people
argument,
use
you
the
know.
term "my truth," there is no "my truth." So
No, there's a truth, and there's your perspective.
Exactly.
But,
we have.
but
And the thing is,
if they think it's their truth, is it the truth, JT? Is it?
it's the truth. The only truth is that it's their perspective, but that's not their truth. They don't.
There you go. So there's an objective means the entire purpose of the word objective means that it does not require human interpretation. It's true regardless.
Right.
Like laws of nature, they exist regardless of whether we are here. They're objective. So there is no your truth.
What would an example?
When you start getting into like observer effect and all that weird shit, then yeah, that you could start even getting
things get complicated then. So,
yeah, way back. But we're not talking about that. But
what example would you give to a truth?
No, that would be fucked up because then that would actually start to point in the other direction, like which is that your point of view is actually changing objective reality, or that you're somehow everyone's perceiving their own objective realities that are different from each other's. That's kind of what the observer effect is implying, which is not even what we're talking about right now. But I don't know why.
Right.
Very.
Your mic's still down. Must be. Oh no, it's not. You have your mic.
But that's kind of what it looks like, you know.
I can hear you. There seems to be a little bit of buffer there, but it's hard to tell to what extent. If you like, talk for a moment.
I don't know what to say. I've been listening in. I think you guys pretty much all agree on the same thing. What I was considering was, okay, like you've got your objective morality. What I'm wondering is it objective for all time?
That's what we're talking about.
That's a good question. That goes back into the religion deal. So,
well, yeah, like, is it okay to torture somebody to save like 1 million people? Is it okay to fucking?
So that goes to utilitarianism, which I am a believer in utilitarianism. A lot of people hate it. I do believe that, and see, this is a form of objective morality, at least if you agree with the premises. So utilitarianism is essentially, it boils down to the greater
Means
good.
to an end,
Yeah,
more or
yes,
less.
absolutely. So you don't gauge a human life as more valuable than another unless there's some objective way to measure that.
Quantity
Like,
is the only way, and it's the only measure. They're not measuring anything else.
pretty
It's like
much.
two people is more valuable than one person.
Exactly. So it's entirely objective in nature.
Even if they're two pieces of shit, is better than one good person, basically. Like according to utilitarianism, because they're not taking into account good or bad.
Well,
because that's also
you could throw that into the mix, but then you would have to measure it. Like you would have to have an
Well,
agreement.
there's no way. And then what are you going to measure?
There is a way.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
still,
but say like
it's still utilitarianism if you all come to an agreement that the person needs to also be by some set standard, a decent human being. As long as you can measure it, it's still utilitarianism because it's not based on like subjective, like like if what you're calling good is measurable, then it can still be considered utilitarianism. At least by the way.
Yeah, but what if it's not agreed on? Like, what if I think it's good to like just fucking do all kinds of horrible shit?
That's right. How many people can you honestly?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's good to just fucking murder people and do all kinds of fucked up shit. I think it's good.
So then you have to, then it becomes like almost a majority rule system where like you do have outliers, but then they would go, oh, that person has mental illness. Like that's what they would do.
It's complex, but
it is, yeah. But morality is, there's a reason why this is like the hugest, most debated field of philosophy and always has been. And that's why I don't like discussing morality through text. It's far too complicated for text, in my opinion.
It really boils down to point of view. A lot of it, like morality and everything else, like has to do with like how you're perceiving and processing shit. Like,
well,
and yeah, everybody's perceiving, processing, and thinking way differently about different things. Like,
which is why I'm
going to go out on a branch and say we, as a whole, and the people I come across in chat, basically share a lot morality. Not all, maybe half. I don't know, but I'm gonna use the term.
I don't share your morality. I'm like the fucking villain of the goddamn Elderverse over there. Senior verse or whatever they call that place. Vegas.
I have no idea what you're talking about, JT.
Well, you do that place too.
I knew you when I first met you, not much more. You know, I just had a couple run-ins with you, so
I don't hate you. You're just kind of you're like a people pleaser, and I'm not. I clash with people like that. That's all. It's nothing against you.
So I think the point that Andy was trying to make.
Truth. That's what I am.
Well, I think everyone would say that, honestly. And I think that they believe it. It's just that, like, the issue is everyone can't know everything. You're limited by your experience. So oh God, I'm using the word that I hate. Your truth, your version of the truth, your interpretation of the truth is biased.
Your point of view, yeah.
By the way, so is mine. You can't be unbiased. It's not possible. You can try to fight against bias, but you're always going to be biased by something.
You're going to have preferences and shit. Yeah, you're going to have innate preferences and thoughts on stuff that just, yeah.
So anybody who denies it is lying.
I agree.
Well, we're naturally drawn or inclined to think and think certain ways, basically. Like, regardless of your environment or whatever, like, it just is. Or you take your environment into account. There's a lot of different shit factoring in. But what exactly is making each person like what is exactly their personality shaped from? It's partly their environment, but the part that they don't really understand is the part that's not environmental.
Well, there's a ton of your personality is biological in nature and is actually genetic. And so I think most people hate it that this is the case because they want to believe that they are the master of their own shit, that they control everything. And according to science,
they can be anything or anyone. Like they can change their personality, which they cannot.
Well, you can to a certain extent, but you can't change the predisposition, I guess is the best way to put it. You can't change that you're predisposed towards certain personality characteristics, and the type of person you are is largely constructed at birth or before birth, actually. Like that's just how it is. It doesn't mean that you can't control anything, but biology plays a massive role.
They don't even really
About
understand that either.
environment as far as shaping my personality.
No, they don't understand the nature aspect nearly as much as like the nurture part.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, the nurture part is almost universal, but the
And
nature.
I think a lot of people don't want to understand it because they fight against it because, like I said, they want to feel like they're the master of their own shit. I could be wrong.
And
but
the
that's
thing
my
is
belief.
that we, even in human nature, there's a lot of commonalities that are shared despite all the differences between people. There's a lot of shit, like a lot of commonalities that humans share, and you could consider that human nature. And a lot of that shit is not good. People want to like, you get all this idealism and shit about like, oh, basically let's create this utopia world, but let's omit human nature from that part, from that equation. It doesn't fucking
Right.
work, man. People are the fucking problem.
Utopia is a joke. The whole
People are the
idea
problem.
concept
People
of
are the problem.
achieving
We are the problem. Like we're our own problem. That's never. It's always been that way.
Hmm.
That's why you have all these different religions and philosophies and ideologies and shit like that. Philosophies, because people are the problem. Like, what do they think? Like AI is going to save us now? I guess that's the plan. Like,
That's another whole joke. AI.
I think more than
I
likely
wouldn't be
AI.
too sure.
I think it's going to be our downfall. It's not going to save us.
Well,
I could be
Well,
wrong.
some people have this idea of like evolving, like humanity is supposed to naturally evolve, and this is a natural process of our evolution
Mhm.
to integrate with artificial intelligence and to like, yeah, basically more or less reach a new plane of consciousness, and that would be the next step in human evolution. That's just an idea.
We'll all be dead and gone, and they'll still be dreaming about that.
No, you'd be surprised, man. A lot of that shit they say is happening in our lifetime.
Sure, JP. Sure.
I don't know.
No, it's all very new shit. But look at the rapid progression of technology, and that's just what the public know about. But like, we basically went from agricultural age for majority of history. Then suddenly we hit the Enlightenment age, and now the industrial age, now the information age. Like all that shit happened in a span of like only like a few hundred years, like compared to thousands of years. Where what the fuck was going on? Like, why did we just suddenly? Well, we just decided to just get smart all of a sudden. We just said fuck religions, and we're just gonna start believing in science. I don't think so. There's another aspect to it that I don't think a lot of people understand.
The only AI I worry about is my ATM machine. Other than that, and maybe the self checkout.
Neither of those are AI. Those are just computers.
Sure, they have to know who the fuck I am. What are you talking about?
No,
AI,
they consider
AI
true
actually,
AI is like a learning machine.
Exactly. It actually can learn.
How do you learn? How does a machine learn, JT?
It's
How do you
complicated.
code a machine to learn?
They're modeling it after the human brain.
Yeah, that's how it began.
What is it? The whole idea to do like a massive amount of
the
queries
point
and
is to do computation, like rapid computations that are beyond our processing power, and to do it fast and better than us.
They're already doing it like way beyond what we're capable of.
And not only that, but they're trying to teach it things. They're trying to teach it concepts like creativity and expression and shit like that. Trying to teach it to mimic the human mind, but better.
They're trying to program.
Well, yeah, they're trying to model it after the human mind, but like a super version of that, like a god mind.
If a person asks this question, then go to here, and if they have an additional question, go here. Dude, it's basic on a massive level. That's what I see. Massive amount of theories, what to do. You gotta
I don't know, man. Our lives are so short. We only catch glimpses of shit anyway. Like,
that is true.
Well, if I'm wrong, I'm open to being corrected.
I'm the same on this one anyway. When it comes to AI, I admit it's all up in the air, and my beliefs are very much speculative. They're not based on.
My beliefs are way out there on that subject.
Yeah.
The UAP phenomenon and all that. I have some out there.
Right. But
I will say that
programmed in, all the queries have to be answerable, all of them, and they have to have.
It depends on your worldview too. There's a lot of
program. I'm sorry, what was that?
I say a lot of it depends on your worldview too, like what you're willing to entertain or not. You know.
That's true.
Well, I'm using common sense on this. It's not my worldview. It's about common sense. It's like
Well,
me.
see,
Like
what we
if I
consider
see,
common sense, like we wouldn't consider
see-
anything
if
uncommon
I
to be
see
part of that,
Right.
and
If I
that's like a
see
blind spot. Like we would. That's
then to ask the question.
I don't. He's breaking up.
Uh,
Your phone's probably
kids fall down with
your
a
battery's probably dying, man. I can
backpack
barely.
to make instantaneous, massive amount of queries in order to make the right decision, in order to protect the child or protect myself. It's massive, massive.
I didn't understand what he said right now. He was breaking up.
Okay.
At the
Whatever,
beginning
don't
you were
worry about
breaking up. Right now it seems like I can hear you fine, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I can. But I didn't get what you
Whatever.
were saying.
Don't worry about it.
No, like I couldn't hear you. Like you were breaking up.
It just falls back to, and it's just an example of the massive quantity of queries that a human brain has to do to wind up making a decision in a millisecond. I just don't see that. I don't.
We're already there. Like,
Well, yeah, we can't do that shit. They
like-
can. Like, that's what they're.
like AI has literally solved like extremely complex like biological formulations that can like
I'm
lead.
not talking about that. I'm
But
talking
that's
about,
what it
I
is.
guess.
Go ahead.
So AI isn't like the ability for a machine to be able to make the proper emotional decision
Not
or to
emotional.
react to emotion.
Not emotion. Emotion's not involved at all. So
So
AI.
it's in a sense like you're saying it can solve these massive
What's about
problems.
computational power, and it's about learning, the ability to learn.
computational power. So
which is
it
it's
like
the same thing
is
as
it
the
like
human brain.
right?
brain
So
is
is it
an
like
extremely
is it like
complicated
a
computer.
glorified problem solving machine?
Yes,
I mean,
that's
That's
exactly what it's
that's,
like.
That's what a brain
okay.
is.
So
There's
it's
no
not
difference.
exactly
Yeah, it's
intelligent.
but it's way more advanced than us. Is the problem with that?
Yeah.
To
And
the point where we would need to integrate with it before, in order to keep up with what it's doing.
Right. Okay. Well,
Which means we would
personally,
basically have to
I
become
did a
like,
that's that's where Neuralink has
Right.
already moved toward.
Right.
It's
I
the,
find
it's
the
the
whole
early
thing
stages.
they call it the
a bit of a
technological
misnomer.
singularity, and they say
Right.
we're reaching close to that, like as a
Right.
society,
I
as
guess
a
to me,
civilization.
at one point, I guess to calculate, maybe the computer or watch, maybe that was artificial intelligence. My God,
In a way,
So
but this is like what this is. The
exactly.
difference is you
In
would
a
be
way.
part of it. In a way, yeah. But the difference is it would be part of you.
When JT?
When is this supposed to happen? I don't know. Don't ask me. I mean, they say could be within the next 15 years. I don't know.
I
Right.
don't know,
I've
but
heard
I can say that
people are
the
going to be
beginning
able
of
to
AI.
scramble the molecules and transport. In
I don't
50
think it'll be
years.
in your lifetime. I'll put it that way.
People think we're going to Mars, JT. You think we're going to Mars, JT? You think we're going to You think we're going to colonize Mars, JT?
I mean, if we can't get our shit together here, why are we going to terraform a whole fucking planet? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
So I don't understand it all, but from an understanding that I got from reading Quora from an expert, Mars is not terraformable. It's not possible, according to him anyway. Like,
Not like a pipe dream.
all the
Sounds
dirt
ridiculous.
over there.
The whole thing sounds ridiculous.
All the dirt over there.
All the dirt. No, it's about having a livable atmosphere, which is impossible. Like, there's no way.
I don't know
atmosphere
what
over
the
there.
issue is, but apparently it's not possible for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I think you can plant a couple gardens and it'll be okay in a few years.
It's not Israel, dude. It's not a desert like where you could just like plants turn it into a little oasis and shit. Like, yeah, it's a planet, and
Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah, it sounds
People
great.
make,
But
I,
this
people
AI
make me
stuff,
fall asleep when they start with that Mars
I honestly
bullshit.
believe anytime Elon Musk says something, now it's worth noting he has a history of scamming people. So I think when he's bringing up this idea, this pipe dream to inhabit Mars, I think he's actually working on some sort of way to make money. and that's his real goal. I don't know that, but that's what I believe.
He's dangling a fucking cow.
I don't know. The way I see him, he's kind of a troll. Like,
well, that's true as well.
Yeah, I think he's basically like a super rich troll. Like,
somebody with any money, anybody with any money, if they don't know, well, shame on them. You know, if they want to invest some speculative money, more power to them.
But I think a lot of the shit he puts out there on social media, I think he's trolling. Like,
I agree.
He does. He loves to troll for reaction.
So the problem is when you're a troll, you can hide your real shit. So I do believe that he's a Nazi. So
you could say he's projecting in his troll comments, but you could say maybe he wants you to think that. You never know.
So that's the problem with trolls. So he can hide behind being a troll and get away with saying the shit he actually wants to say.
Not true. Imagine that.
Wow. Well, no, maybe he wants people to think that he's projecting in his troll comments, and maybe they want him to think he's a Nazi or something.
Well, why would he want people? That's possible.
Well, why would he want people to?
The reason why I don't think that's true is because of the history. So that's how you can tell whether someone is meaning what they say, is gauge their actions in the past. So Elon Musk has supported numerous neo-Nazi movements in Germany and other places around the world. So this happened a long time ago before he even became a troll. So I truly believe he's a Nazi. I don't know that.
Like I say, I really don't keep up with the guy too much like that, so I really couldn't say myself. Right. So I really wouldn't know one way or the other on him because I'm not super opinionated on the guy. I think he's sketchy. I think he's a troll, but yeah, I really don't know a lot about the guy. Like other than that, I know he's like kind of how to say, he's kind of associated himself with the whole Trump thing, I guess. Like he's yeah.
I think it's all about making money. He wants to control Trump and his decisions because Trump now basically, to some extent, owes him because of the massive amount of money that Elon Musk sunk into getting him elected in the first place. So he basically has him by the balls to some extent. I won't say that he owns him, but to some extent, he's got a lot of control over the policies Trump makes. And that has already skyrocketed his income. So to think that that's not a big reason why he supported him would be, in my opinion, naive. Obviously,
I don't know if I don't know if he needs fucking Elon's money. I really don't know. I doubt. I mean, he's a billionaire in his own right. I'm not to the level of Elon Musk.
Trump is poor compared to Elon.
No, I say not to the level that Elon Musk is, but I don't know what he's poured into his campaign either. I doubt it was multi-billion-dollar campaign.
Well, it's not just money itself. It's proven that Elon Musk used TikTok, which he bought, turned it into X, to turn it into a propaganda machine to where the algorithm favored right-wing disinformation. At least in a lot of cases, it was disinformation, and they would shut out left-wing shit, and that influenced a lot of people. You can't claim that didn't influence the election because it was massive. Massive.
I don't think the elections are even fucking influenced by votes. I think they're pre-selected.
I don't agree with that. But why do you think that?
I just do. I call it I couldn't give you a concrete reason that I believe that.
So just it's a feeling.
Given the rest, given the other factors and other things that I believe, that again I wouldn't expect anybody else to believe, which is why I don't really talk about it too much. But I don't believe in the electoral system. Let's just look at the nature of power itself. Why would you give the power to the people? Doesn't make any sense. I don't believe that was ever the case.
That's entirely possible. So I wouldn't say that I know otherwise. I do.
No, I don't claim to either. I certainly don't. Right. Yeah,
that's fine. So my personal
I'm looking at it from a reductive point of view. Let's look at the nature of power itself. Why would this idea of democracy is fairly new, and I don't really believe in it at face value. I don't believe a lot of shit at face value, but I don't believe in that. I think it's pretty obvious that it's not real. When you break it down, and I think a lot of this shit is kind of smoke and mirrors to make people think that they have choice, think that they have representation. But again, that's way off. That's why I don't really talk about that kind of shit because there's no way to prove that. concretely.
It's still worth noting though, and I think it's a valid observation. So to me, I would say it's a good point to make. Why would you allow people to have that power if you own all the power? So the reason
Why
why
would you
I
give it
believe,
to an ignorant
right,
population that doesn't
right.
know shit about anything other than what you tell them to believe? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But the reason why, in my opinion, that I believe in some version of democracy and that actually votes matter is because you can control those. In fact, they do. So you control them through education. It's worth noting that America has an absolutely abysmal education in comparison to the rest of the world, considering the amount of wealth we produce.
And you could say that, and I would agree, but it doesn't change the entire value system from conservative to fucking liberal to conservative to liberal. There's something wrong there. You're not telling me the same populace voted for fucking Trump, then voted for Biden, then voted for Trump again. I'm just not.
I don't understand your point.
Like their values, you could say it's an education thing, okay, but the values don't change from conservative to.
Oh, well, so what I believe, and this might kind of go into what you believe, I believe that essentially Democrats and Republicans work together. They're not opposed like they claim.
I agree.
Exactly. So I think where we differ is you believe that even votes are fake and that it's all predetermined. I believe that the part where they all work together. So what they do is they influence through division and through blaming each other for everything and focusing on issues that they know is so important to people that they will vote just on that one thing.
I think they create those very issues in a lot of cases.
True,
yes, I agree so far with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're very similar. I think the only difference is you go one step further. You think that even the votes are fake, which is
right.
possible.
No, I take it to like the furthest because
right. So other than that, I think we're on the same page there, and I completely agree. And where we differ is so in the air. It's so like we couldn't possibly.
You go with things you can prove, and so you trust otherwise unless you can't prove it. I'm a little different.
True, but like I would say the same for both of us. Like it's both of it is the difference between you and I on that one thing is so like unprovable that like it could go either way. So it's like,
but it's a really big deal, though.
It is absolutely it is. So I would maintain that it's important to figure this out, but we just don't. I don't think
we can. Yeah, I don't think it's something. Yeah, I don't think it's something we could just figure out. So it's like you either believe in this, and you either believe in the system to a degree, like you do, or you just don't believe in the system at all, which is like me. But yeah, I get both. I get your point of view, but yeah, I think you understand where I'm coming from too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I can't prove it. Like,
yeah.
Trump.
Yeah,
let me ask you a question. I can't think of the right word, but you know, talking about this plaintiveness, is it possible like this plaintiveness is, I can't think of the right word. I keep wanting to say grassroots. That's not the right term, but that basically naturally occurring that because they're opposing viewpoints, that these different planned viewpoints are going to come to fruition because of just a naturally occurring difference in beliefs. I mean, is it something deep and dark, or is it just something occurring? I'm going to use an example like some of these books in the library. Is it all planned out, or is it just like Republicans say no to this and Democrats say yes?
Okay, so I think what you did break up a little bit, so I tried to piece together what you were saying, and I think what you're saying is you believe that your political differences in large part are natural, as in they're actual beliefs that people actually have. And I don't deny that if that's what you're saying. So what I'm claiming is that
I'm asking as much as anything.
I don't think they're natural.
I think that it's both. So I think that there are some things that are like proclivities to where we have a biological lean.
And I think they're playing on those.
Exactly.
Things.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So I think it's both. So we have, I believe that conservatives and liberals, there's a lot of overlap, but like on the whole, they're primarily personality distinctions. And we can prove this, by the way. So you can give someone a big 5 personality test without any prior knowledge and almost perfectly plot them on a political spectrum just by using the answers to that test. And that tells you that there is a sort of innate like personality correlation.
So what's the big five correlation with, say, Republican versus conservative? Do you know it off the
So
top?
the
Because I don't.
big, I can give you the big answer. So in the big five, the big one for liberals is openness. That is the thing that they're strongest in, which makes absolute sense if you think
So
about
that's
it.
what it is, right? Progressive
Yes,
is like open to new shit, basically. Conservative is
absolutely.
not.
And
Like,
so that's one. The big one for conservatives is conscientiousness, which is like your drive to succeed and excel, and that makes sense as well. So you could
Wait a second. I thought
well, I consider
conscientious
conscientiousness
is
something to like think something thought out, like you're
right, like the
thinking more
you
deeply
know
about a thing.
hold on, I could be
consideration
misdefining
for
it.
your fellow man.
Hold on, let me
To
look
me,
up
consciousness means
conscientiousness.
you have
Well,
consideration
you
for
say
your fellow man.
conscientiousness, like being aware of something, like to be
Okay,
conscientious.
okay, you're closer than I am actually. I was butchering it. So it's of a person wishing to do what is right, especially to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. So it's more about like your belief structure of responsibility and yeah,
Yes, it seems to have like correlate strongly with personal responsibility or an idea.
right, right.
That's
That
what,
yeah, so I've actually been thinking of it incorrectly.
So anyway, so we have the first one was progressive. Now this conscientious.
right. So they're
You
saying
know,
basically liberals or progressives, like they're more open to new shit, and they're saying that's the defining characteristic for them. But the
Hmm.
defining characteristic for Republicans would be like a strong sense of moral or personal responsibility, basically,
Hmm. That's what the Big Five tests
according to the
with
Big Five.
like tons of different people have shown. That's the correlation. And
right?
what that shows is that we know that personality is largely biological, not only, but largely biological. It's kind of determined at birth to a large extent, which means you can kind of just take a random teenager that knows absolutely nothing about politics, give them a big five personality test, and you can pretty reliably measure where they're going to fall in the political spectrum when they get older or when they do learn about politics. So it means that it's not arbitrary. Like we like to believe that it's like whether you're left or right is entirely like a either a personal choice or it just doesn't matter. It's just both the same. That's not true. But there's an issue because what JT and I are saying is that they take this innate characteristic and they purposefully massage it. They use it for propaganda purposes. They push people and pull people in ways to pit them against each other and to use those innate biases to get their
What's
way.
an example of that, Trobs? What's an example of that?
That's I don't know if I could give you a
Well,
concrete
the fact that
example.
they call it the Hegelian dialectic, basically, but basically that's actually a little bit separate, but more or less like they'll take like whatever you like or don't like, and they'll try to twist it and warp it against like other people's what they like and don't like. So like to the
So
point,
they're manipulating your emotions. They both
basically.
sides do this all the time.
Mhm.
Have you noticed when like just this is just an example. I know it more, so don't think I'm attacking the right because I do it all the damn time. But like you can use an example for the left if you want after this. But have you noticed that when the right wing media, like especially when election cycle comes up, what they'll do is they'll have a never ending loop of like a caravan of migrants entering the border. Now the reason why they do this is they're appealing to your fear of the other. They're pushing this fear of like they're taking over your jobs. They're trying to get rid of the white race
I
shit.
want to
Like,
talk about that actually, the whole immigration thing. Like, I want
okay,
to
sure.
go back to that because with the whole new deportation act, not to derail.
Cool.
Yeah. We can do that.
JT,
So,
let me respond. Look, I think you have a good
yeah.
idea, JT, but let me respond to Trobs real quick. Trobs, of course they do that. It's election time. They want votes. They want to see people. It's like people, the world, Sandy, global warming,
And I'm saying the same government, the
fear.
same government that
It's fear.
incentivized them to come here in the first place is now saying the opposite. And
So it's not just that they're like, hey, I'm trying to so propaganda doesn't automatically mean lies, right? It just means you're trying to sway someone one way or another. But my issue with it is that they don't conform to the ideals that they claim. All they're doing is spouting fear mongering and oftentimes lying, both sides, by the way,
Well,
to get
right, that's the
to
whole
get your
point,
emotions
Rob.
up.
Dude, you are so close to
That's the point,
seeing it how I
Rob.
see it. So
Everybody's
close.
doing it.
You
To
just want to
being
believe in it a little more than I do. Like
to being what?
you're so close to believing, like to not believing in the system. Like
I don't believe in the system in many ways. There's only a couple of things that I do think is legit. Like I do honestly believe that votes are counted and they are legitimately counted. But so even that is weird because we don't go by the popular vote. We have the fucking elector what is it called?
the electoral in the college.
Yeah, the
vote.
electoral college, which means they're representatives, and oftentimes they side with someone that doesn't get the popular vote. So it's like it's not a perfect democracy. Give us your poor and downtrodden. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Legally. You
That's
forgot
valid
one
too.
word.
That's valid too because so for many so not all, some conservatives don't want immigrants at all, but many conservatives only have a problem with illegal immigrants, which it is worth.
Some liberals want murderers to come in.
Look, man, I wanted to
Some
say
liberals don't care if murderers and criminals come in.
the whole immigration thing, man. Like, what's the whole thing now? There's like a whole fear and civil unrest about the whole deportation act. I guess like you got a bunch of people, Hispanic people, protesting it, and like they're like nervous that they're going to get deported, because of all the talk that's being
Right.
There's no such thing as deporting an American citizen. If there's people that's saying that, maybe they should be deported.
No, I'm not talking about deporting citizens. I'm talking about deporting undocumented
Bye.
immigrants.
He's talking about the civil unrest that's caused by even some, because it's already been shown that they have targeted people that aren't illegal immigrants. And like there was a U.S. veteran of over 20 years that was targeted because
happened.
Well,
Now, when you say targeted, what exactly? Like,
so what I mean by targeted is
some people are going to suffer for the greater for the American people. Sorry.
Well, the problem is in my opinion, this is obviously just my opinion, so I don't want to make it sound objective. You're causing a bigger problem for something that's not even an issue. Like illegal immigrants,
it is an issue.
You're
declaring it's not an issue.
Well, hold on.
It is.
Either way, it's subjective. Whether you think it's an issue or not an issue is your personal opinion. Like there's not a fact either way, unless so you could point. I would agree with you if you pointed to a bunch of illegal immigrants were going around killing people and like raping and murdering. But we know, according to actual statistics, that's not true. But those illegal immigrants literally prop up our economy. They're the entire reason why we're doing as well as we're doing.
We got along without them. We'll get along just fine without them.
So the problem is,
we'll be just fine. We can get Jimbo. We can get Jimbo to do some lawn care.
So this is the deal. This is the deal. A vast majority of the American people did not vote over immigration. We have polls for that. A vast majority of the American people voted on the economy, which is currently tanking and is going to get worse because of his deportations. So most people are pissed. Like it's a problem.
I guess I want to ask from your point of view, Andy. What is your stance on the whole deportation thing, like in the illegal immigration situation? Like, do you think they should stay? Do you think they should be deported? What do you think?
Broke the law, man. I have no problems with illegal immigrants. Otherwise, I say get them all the fuck, give them a free one-way ticket back to home. Come in legally. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Hey, my people came over on a boat. It was a little easier, maybe. I don't know. I was a kid. But yeah, come legally. I hear these stories about Europeans waiting years and years. Oh, and on another thing, that H1R or whatever that visa is, I'm cool with that. Bring the Indians over here. I don't give a fuck. We need people like that. How's that?
So I actually disagree on that one because so it's weird we have opposite stances here. So the H1B deal, that my problem is the intent. Elon Musk likes it. Trump doesn't back it because Trump agrees with it. Trump backs it because Elon Musk put pressure on them to keep H1B. And the only reason why is so that Elon Musk can take people and pay them absolute shit and have crap working conditions.
Jobs,
That's
Google
it.
their
That's the only.
salaries.
What is H1B?
Google their salaries.
It's a
Google their salaries. It's
okay.
not
Hold
that
on.
bad.
I will. But like
17% are making the same equal. And guess what? Sometimes if you get citizenship, maybe you make 10% less to go through the gates a little faster.
All I
think that's
know,
a fair deal.
I know we wanted them here in the first place. We incentivized it for them to
that's
come
true.
here. We
So
wanted
if-
them here.
So I'm
And-
looking
and-
this up now, but if they're paid comparatively to the rest, I'm perfectly cool with it. But I don't think that's true.
That's not the case. No.
17%.
So Elon
It's
Musk
not
is
as
making
a-
this.
It's not,
He's making
it's
this
not
case.
as outrageous as people.
Well, I'm looking it up now, but like basically the H1B deal is you can get immigrants to come over it because they're specialized, that they're high skill labor, and we allow them to kind of skirt the system because of that. And so my deal is Elon Musk wants them because obviously they benefit him.
Basically, they have degrees. Like,
Yes,
so
yes.
they're educated.
Right.
Yes.
I'm not
But
gonna
so
deny
the
it,
argument
benefits him.
is so the
They're more
argument
valuable
is,
than the ones that are
yeah,
the
absolutely.
uneducated ones.
Yes, that's the argument.
Yeah,
So the
basically.
question is it about that or is it about fucking exploiting labor? And that's what I'm trying to
I
find
think
out.
it's about exploiting labor. It's about
That's what I
exploiting
believe.
labor.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, no. We want them here so that we can pay them shit, and so that we don't have to outsource those companies like overseas. Like,
Exactly, and
shit.
that's why
I
even
don't
MAGA.
agree with the term. I don't
Well,
agree
this
with
is the thing.
term
Even
paying
MAGA
them
is
shit.
tearing each other
Hey,
apart over
they're
this.
getting paid than they would if they were an American citizen. That's for sure. Their
Well,
working
that-
conditions are.
JT, have you looked into it?
Look, man. All I know is that an illegal is
That's a
willing
no.
to do.
That's a no. That's
Have
a
you
no.
fucking
Thank
looked
you.
into it?
Yes, I
What do
have.
you know what they're being paid? Illegals are being paid all. They're being paid less than minimum wage. in a lot of
Illegals?
cases.
No, I'm talking about the H-1Bs.
I didn't say anything about that. I'm not talking
That's
about
what
that.
we were talking about, weren't we?
Do
What
we
you and
even
Tom's
have
talking
He brought that
about?
up, but we were talking about it in a more broad sense, like the
You're
employee.
funny, bro. You're real funny.
I'm funny.
Yes, you are.
He just brought it up. I mean, he said basically that the educated ones are more priority to keep them here.
Who the fuck do you think I was talking about? Are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, he's losing the plot, and I'm too high to keep up with this guy. He keeps losing the plot. He's on some fucking boomer energy, some hardcore boomer shit. Like, look, man, I wasn't even talking about that. We already established that. Well, I was talking about something completely different. I was talking about why we incentivize it for them to come here.
Already established jack fucking shit.
I'm talking
What do you
about
mean we already
I'm talking about the
established?
uneducated ones. They get to pay them shit. The other ones, I wasn't talking about that.
I disagree when you use it. It's,
Okay.
but
Okay, well let me put it in terms that you don't.
put it
Yeah.
into percentages for me.
Percentages.
I'm
It
good with
depends on the job.
percentages.
Look, a lot of these illegals are being paid less than minimum wage. That's
Oh,
just
I'm not talking about illegals. I'm talking about the H-1Bs.
the H-1Bs. I don't know what they're getting paid. I would assume they're getting paid on par. The H-1Bs.
They shouldn't.
Okay, let anyone who's educated. I'm talking about the uneducated ones. The educated ones are probably getting paid on par with everyone else who's educated in their field. I would imagine.
If that's
I don't
true,
know.
I don't have a problem with it.
I wouldn't fucking know, 'cause
I'm trying to dig into it, but I don't know. if
illegals. I hope you're not saying illegal, educated illegals. Come on.
That's what he's saying. They're undocumented, but they also have degrees. Like,
real life.
I can't. Dude, where is everybody getting their microphones?
Okay, you can't hear me?
I don't know. I don't get
You're
all this
breaking up
shit.
a little bit.
Again, it goes back to what we were first talking about. You know, all this circular morality and truth and my truth. That's all it is. That's why it keeps going in circles forever.
I don't hate you, man, but you lose the plot, like to the point where it actually derails my train of thought. Like you, Andy, and
I would say I keep up with the train of thought. And some of the time, you lose the train of the plot. Sometimes,
no, when you
JT.
say some left field shit, yeah, I do.
Disappointed in you. I'm
I'm
disappointed.
disappointed in you. You know what? I don't feel disappointed in you.
You're easily confused. I think I would use that. Yeah, confused. That would be
I'm
a good
stoned,
word.
man, and you just keep losing the plot now. Well,
Okay.
yeah. As far as what they get paid, I don't know. Trobs, I don't think he knows.
Your H-1Bs will get paid in rupees.
Am I gonna have to look it up myself?
Well, I tried to look it up, and I don't know if we have this data. Like, I can't find actual breakdown of salaries by H-1B visas. I don't know if we have that.
It's out there, Trump. No. This percentage. I read an article somewhere that the majority of them make comparable. 17% made equal to, and then yes, there was a percentage that made a good bit less. Yes, this is true.
So hold on. If what I'm looking at here is accurate, it's a breakdown of H-1B salaries by state. And so at highest end, Washington State, the hourly wage is $91.22, which is very good. Let me look at the low end.
Okay, it's what I basically fucking figured. This says H-1B visa holders are paid at least the prevailing wage or the actual wage they pay other similar employees, whichever is higher. The prevailing wage is the salary paid to similar work. Right, so they get paid basically the same as other people in that field, is what I said.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the
trophy.
That's what I said. I already said that without even looking it up.
Well,
You can get a trophy too, JT.
I don't
No.
give a fuck about your trophy. My point was, I wasn't talking about these H-1B visas. I was talking about.
Fuck about it.
Dude.
Give a fuck.
Fuck, man.
So
I wasn't talking about them.
From what I can tell, both of you agree
Keep
on
up,
that
JT,
particular.
keep up,
Both of you
man.
agree on that particular deal about the H-1B visa. So I was actually the only one wrong in this case. I believed that it was just him trying to take advantage.
Agreed.
And so I just found out that apparently the law doesn't allow for that, at least that I'm aware of. So that's a good
So
thing.
I'm right. I was right.
I figured that's what the H-1 visa was for. Like, otherwise, why do they have a special visa for it? But
I'm in trophy.
it's the first time I heard about it. Yeah. No, but I'm not talking about the ones that hold H-1B visas. I'm talking about the other ones. You know, the ones that don't have any degrees in anything. Like, I'm talking about those. Yeah, there are those that like.
Well, we're having two simultaneous conversations. I don't know. Trobs is a stream holder, so I'm kind of going with him.
Well, if you're going with me, we're going to have trouble because I'm ADHD and my brain jumps all over the place.
That's all right. I like trouble. Plus, you get cute when you're mad.
I don't ever get mad though. Well, I do get.
I was gonna say, I hope you're talking to Trobs. Yeah.
I get conviction. I get like there's certain topics that I feel strongly about.
Yeah.
That happens for sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, so I don't know. I've heard reference to illegals with degrees of, I guess, college degrees of some nature. I'd have to say the preponderance don't have that item.
What they're saying is they might make exception for them because they're more valuable and they're getting paid the same, so they're not being exploited. Is the point?
I'm fine with it in that case. So it's a
There's nothing
form
wrong
of
with
legal
that.
immigration. So the reason why I had a problem with it is because I didn't know all the information. And Andy, you
How
brought it up.
valuable
I
is
looked it up.
How
and you're right.
valuable is a college degree from Venezuela? How do we accept those here?
So that a lot of that is based on misinformation. So a lot of what you know about Venezuela is propaganda because the United States hates Venezuela because it's a communist country. So it is not true that Venezuela's education is absolute shit because they're poor in a third world country and all that stuff. That's just not true.
It does it rate better than ours.
Depends on
I'll
if the
have
school's
to look
accredited
that
or not.
up.
Like, I mean, I think
I
they're
tell you what, I wouldn't go to a fucking doctor down there. I guarantee that.
a lot of Americans go to like say Mexico for different procedures and things because it's
Yep.
cheaper.
Yeah.
It's cheaper and it's
Well,
on
yeah, that
par.
bargain
Yeah, it's the
shop.
same shit for
Bargain.
cheaper.
Yep. Same deal with Canada. Like a lot of people like to make the case, well, they have shitty healthcare. It's free. It's shitty. It's not shitty. Actually, they're better in like cancer research and stuff. The difference is that is true. A fair criticism is yes, you do have to wait a little bit longer because, but
That can be kind of fucked up, wouldn't you say, Trump?
it depends on the extent of it. So it's not true. There's this
Agreed.
big exaggeration that like everybody's over there in like waiting rooms dying. That's not true. That's a little bit of an extreme jump.
Is anybody dying in the U.S. waiting room, Tribes?
Yes, more than in Canada.
No. How? Natural causes.
So
It's not for lack of health care.
it's the same deal. So for the exact same measurement of people died while waiting for healthcare, Canada, and now it's worth noting Canada has a lot less of a population, but still they're at like 15,000, and I think the United States is at 20 to 25,000, something like that.
Yeah.
But
well,
so you could say that America has a lot more people, which is a valid point. But still, like it's a big they jump and like make this big exaggeration. So it is true that they wait longer. More people can die if you have an absolute emergency, but you get free health care and you're not in debt for the rest of your
Overall,
life.
it's better, but yeah, we can't afford that with a population like ours. It's just not.
I think we can. I think
We
can.
could, but not the way we allocate our shit. It's not. No.
We would have to change things for sure.
Yeah, which is not gonna. Yeah.
Well, I agree that it won't happen. Not well. For the biggest reason is because we have legal bribery here, which is called lobbying, and the healthcare industry is in the pockets of all of our congressmen.
Dude, it's treated like a business. We're making money. People are making a lot of money. It's a business.
And as long as
why would
that's
they
the
want
case,
to end that business?
JT, why do people have to wait for an MRI in Canada? Is that a business choice?
Because it's not a business over there. Because there's too many people on the fucking waiting list because it's not a business.
Right.
Oh, okay. That sounds.
Yeah, well,
like
there's a drawback to everything.
So
yeah,
there is a drawback.
You either have to wait on the list or you have to pay money that you can't afford, and and then you're denied.
Well, you know what? Everybody on Medicaid does not have to pay. That's
what I'm saying. You could be on Medicaid. I don't know what all they cover. I mean, hopefully they cover like.
From what I'm told, it's some of the best coverage in the world.
Well, that's great. Then that's basically socialized healthcare, I would say.
Yeah.
More or less, right?
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that.
I don't see it as an issue, though. So we should all have that.
People that are on
medication. I mean, if you can get government, if you can get government and health insurance, yeah, Medicaid or whatever the hell, Medicaid or whatever they call it.
Well, so I'm just wondering, yeah.
No, I would say that's basically socialized healthcare. I mean, they're giving you free fucking health insurance. As long as it's covering what you need. I don't know how that works.
Oh no, it's far beyond that, JT. They can go in if they had the sniffles. They can go to the emergency room.
Does it? Yeah, I mean that seems good to me. Or they could make an appointment with their doctor, right?
Well, yeah, but they can go to the emergency room. Money's not a deterrent for those people.
Yeah, it's basically like social healthcare, then, isn't it? It's like very similar, right?
Yes, I would agree.
I need to watch that. I've actually heard about Sicko. I don't know. I haven't dug into it, but apparently it's like exposing our healthcare system and the industry and everything. I don't know much about it.
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, if people are getting free health insurance, I mean, you make a valid point there.
A huge percentage. I'd have to look it up, but I'll lose y'all, so I'm not going to bother. But a huge amount of people are on Medicaid, a huge, along with all other social programs. Free food, free house, free
Yeah, all those social programs,
hospitality.
it's basically socialism.
It is. So, well, they're
Right.
socialist policies.
Yeah, I mean,
but
yeah, let's like they're socialist. Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's the thing when people are like about democratic socialism, like say Bernie Sanders, and people go communist. Like we have many of the policies that make democratic socialist nations what they are already. It wouldn't be
Right.
that huge of a change, really. It's like it wouldn't be like this jump from like us to like you'll point to like Venezuela. It's not like
The
that.
main difference between capitalist communism is the ownership. There's no such thing as like personal ownership in
Pretty
communism.
much.
That's basically
Well,
it.
let me
But
ask
as
the
far as like
panel.
government funded like healthcare and government funded programming for infrastructure and shit, that should just be fucking basic shit for
I
any
Let
country.
me
agree.
ask, let me
On
ask
certain
the
things,
panel.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think fucking education and healthcare should be a
Thank
fucking business. It
I
should be
agree.
it should be in the best interest of the country for it to
But
thrive.
So
I
you
do
think
think that like
education should be
automobiles should be
socialized?
yes.
I think education should be a state's right.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's state, federal, or whatever. What matters is how it's paid for, and that it shouldn't be
I
privatized.
disagree.
You think
Disagree.
it should be
wholeheartedly.
privatized? So if it's
No, I'm
privatized,
saying the local government drives local.
then it doesn't matter. All that matters is whether it's privatized. So if it's local government, then it's still social. That's still the same thing. It's just on a different level. So I don't have a problem with that. Like I just think that privatizing certain things creates problems because then all that matters is profit. That's how capitalism works. That's why we have so many evil fucking big corporations and CEOs that fuck people over all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, because capitalism has a place. So I believe that when it comes to automobiles, for example, there
It
should
breeds
be
innovation. Yeah, we make
exactly
better shit because we have to.
because
Because
of
we're all competing to make
competition.
more money.
Yes, absolutely.
But
And
the downside is we turn fucking shit that shouldn't be a business into a business, like school,
exactly.
like education and fucking healthcare.
Yes, and I agree completely with that, which is why there's a hybrid model. Most of the countries in like the Scandinavian region have already done this and have this hybrid model. They keep free market for certain things, but they have socialist policies for others. And by the way, they're the happiest people in the world and have
It makes
been for
sense. It
decades.
just makes sense. But also, those are very low population compared to the
That
United
is
States.
true.
That would be
That
a
is
much
very
larger
true.
undertaking here, and we already have enough problems as it is. The problem is, I think we want, or whoever's in charge wants these fucking problems. I can't help but believe that.
Okay, so y'all are both anti-private education.
No, I'm not anti. I think there should be both.
I would, yeah, I would say the same thing about
So,
healthcare. By the way, like there should be. Go ahead.
Cops, weren't you talking about a hybrid model? Does that mean both? Does
Yes.
hybrid mean both?
What I agree with is so when it comes to healthcare, there are two different things. With healthcare, I believe that we should have, like Canada, universal healthcare as a public option and private healthcare if you want to bolster it or get
I
better.
agree. For people who can afford it, why not?
Exactly. So that's absolutely
But there should
fine.
be
I don't
something
have
in
a
place
problem
for
with
people who cannot, and that's what he's talking about.
absolutely. That's what the issue is that people that are the most vulnerable in our society are in our system fucked and just like, well, fuck you, you don't have money. And it's not most of the time anyway, it's not their fault. We like to talk about like people are poor because they're lazy. No, that's bullshit. The truth of the matter
It
is
doesn't matter. The
people have
boys
bad
get
fucking luck.
Medicaid jobs. Don't you get it? They get everything.
Well, I
for
think
free
he's talking
already.
more on the educational side, and like, yeah, they have like fast food and all that, and I don't really know.
Don't they get free education already? They do here.
Well, they have like I said, fast food is like student aid. They have student aid programs,
Mhm.
but how comparable that is to like.
Here,
But
you,
it's
can
not-
you can get a state education free for a year if you have a C average. Isn't that fucked up?
I would say, yeah,
That's-
that would be
that's not-
comparable.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know how
So-
true that is because I haven't
so
looked into it.
you
It's
can't
true in
just.
Louisiana. Google it.
Now, it might be true for Louisiana, but it's not true that
That's what
the
I said.
Yeah,
entire.
the problem is,
Here,
this
here.
needs to
I
be.
meant
The problem is,
specifically Louisiana.
Okay, if that's true, then I would say Louisiana's great. That's
well, the
fucking
problem is
awesome.
it should be nationally implemented.
Exactly.
On a
That's
nationwide
what I
scale.
think.
Like, since we're running a country and not just a fucking like.
So yeah, if you want to make the claim that everything is based on merit, I would be
So
cool with
higher
that.
education is a right. A college education's a right.
In your state, yes. And
No,
that's
I
cool.
mean as a whole, like for every red-blooded American,
I think it
legal.
should. I think
Don't
it
you
should
think
be.
everyone should have the opportunity if you're trying to like say let's just say you're trying to build like a country with educated populace, right?
Rash.
I don't know. Because look, we have enough people paying their way or getting some assistance to do what has to be done. I mean, that's the way I see it.
I think my issue is that it's not a given. So
Look, I seen so many people when I was in school wasting federal money. So waste I saw. Fucking ridiculous.
So I agree with you when it comes to fraudulent usage of like taxpayer money. So how do you fix that? Not get rid of it, but honestly, more regulation. It's the only way. You
How about
put
this?
more people in charge
How about
that
this?
make sure that people aren't taking advantage of the system, and then it's fixed.
Right. How about this? Maybe everybody with the 3.0 and above, but the dumb people need a college education too, I guess, right? We got to
No.
send those 2.0 people to college. Yeah, right. We
I
gotta
wouldn't
send
know-
No,
them
they
there
should
and
be find a
learn
skill
how
or
to-
something. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. So you can have skill trades and stuff. If people aren't capable of doing work, like
Well,
not everyone can do.
or maybe they
everything.
don't want to. Or, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
maybe
or
they
that.
don't. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they want to learn a skill.
Now, I'm gonna jump out on a limb and assume JT has been to college, but my experience is that they don't push trade school. They push 4-year universities and Pell grants and whatever other fucking grants they are. There's nobody saying,
Yeah, but they have like Job Corps. They have stuff. They have like things
Nobody's
you can.
over there saying, "Oh, you have a C average. You know, you really should consider going to plumbing school." I don't fucking believe it. But we need.
No,
it.
they
We
want
do
they
need
want
it.
the
We
highest
need
graduate rate that
trade
they can get.
school.
It's it's treated like a business. They're not saying, "Hey, you'd be more adapt to like fucking being a plumber or some shit." No, like they're like, "We want your money. Like, keep paying us."
Right. So that's part of the problem. And if you got rid of privatization, that problem would be eliminated.
Right. I think anybody like with a 3.0, I would give consideration to them getting free college, but not to a C student. Now, if they want to go to a 2-year technical school, we can. But a 4-year university, fuck no. It's doing a disservice to the young people of this country.
I wouldn't have
I
a
think-
problem with like incentivizing trade schools for people that you think can't do certain jobs. That's fine.
Or
But,
they
like-
maybe don't want to do certain jobs.
Yeah,
Maybe they
or
want
that.
to learn
So-
trade.
My issue is if people want to do something and the only thing holding them back is they're not fucking rich, that's a
Oh.
problem.
Right.
Because
and
then, go ahead.
another requirement I would have is you can't go to school for bullshit degrees. No, none of that. You have to go to school for meaningful degree.
So if
Fuck
there's a
all.
degree that exists that you can't translate into some sort of utility for the rest of the population, I agree with you. But the
Now, of
question,
course, that's
Well, dude, that's like every fucking
that's gonna be
philosopher's
subjective.
degree. Like that's like every
well,
fucking.
that's the deal. So philosophy, I would
Right,
argue,
exactly.
it'll become subjective. So I
Well,
would
it is
argue
utility
that
because that's something they
philosophy-
gotta teach in fucking universities and shit. Like,
Well,
so.
there's that. Plus, I would say
Right,
there
'cause they
is
can
utility
only
in
teach 'cause
philosophy.
They can't do.
Because what?
There is utility in philosophy.
Yeah, that's
so
arguable.
Exactly, it's subjective. So the question, so
It
what
works.
the deal
Starbucks.
is what you're talking about is only what benefits people materially, like it's through their job. Now, I personally believe, we can disagree on this, that there are other things that are useful that provide use in the world rather than just making money. That's not everything.
Yeah,
Like,
in this.
Trump.
Yeah, here it is. In this country, it is.
Tribes,
I
Tribes,
disagree
you
with
should
that
have.
though. I agree, but that's wrong. Is my point.
Well,
And that
yeah,
we
but that's how the world
Tribes, a few
works.
weeks ago, you said you were happy you were making more money. I'm not going to forget that. You were
well,
happy.
so if we were to get worse than we are now, JT's point, like we're all about profit. If we were to go even further, there's no artists because that's not that like philosophy. You could even go to like theology, like people who are into like religious stuff and like they go to school to learn to be ministers and stuff. We get rid of all of that because it's not like typical like profit-based stuff. Like, don't you think we'll be a more fucked up society for it? Like,
Well, yeah, people should be able to be what they want to be, regardless of whether you think it's fucking profitable or utility or has
yes,
utility.
and they should be able to survive by
Right,
doing
have a livable, yeah, be able to live off that.
and that's my
I know
whole
a
stance.
couple artists. A good artist is going to make a good living. A piece of shit artist is going to have to go work at a menial job.
I don't know about that because art is a lot of times
It's supply and demand. If people want their art, then yeah, they're
to some extent, but it's like to some extent it's manipulation.
It's a business. It's a
Like,
business.
You're talking about like
a
the
business.
high end art world. Yeah, I think a lot of that shit's just money laundering. Like, if you're being honest, like
Yeah, I think so too. But like
I'm talking about
your
somebody
average
making
artist.
50, 70,000 a year.
So what? What was that, Andy?
No, just somebody in the art world making 50,000 a year, able to survive for their trade. You know, like a musician or an artist or an actor, somebody that's able to get by and make a living doing what they love. For every superstar actor, there's the back, not even a background actor, but co-stars making nothing, because they got one line,
Right. And so if everything's based on merit, I don't have a problem with it. I would be fine with a meritocracy, and this is where we may disagree. This is where we may disagree. But this is where we may disagree. I don't think we're there. We do not have a meritocracy. We are told that we have a meritocracy. I don't believe
it's
we do.
impossible, Trubs, because somebody's going to scream and cry. Just like I said, I'm totally happy with with a B education, going to school for a meaningful degree, getting a free education. Now, a C average, going to school for I don't know, art appreciation. Fuck no.
I think that you have a valid argument there. That's not crazy.
But Trubs, you and I both know that there's going to be naysayers. You and I both know that.
Oh, absolutely. But isn't that how it should be? It should be to some extent.
Yeah,
Like if you have democracy, it's majority rules. Like,
and that's what I'm also saying is that person that started out going to med school, winding up with the art appreciation degree, would have been better served being advised to go to school for or framing or electrical work or some sort of meaningful trade.
So it depends. So if the way things are now, the answer is yes. So my point is the way things are now should not be the way things are. So we're coming from two different angles here. Like I kind of like, this is what makes me a leftist. I'm not a liberal. A liberal is someone who wants to work within this framework of how basically things are now and change it to make it a little bit more progressive. I think that it really can't be done, or that it's not feasible. We have to destroy fucking everything.
Yeah, like it needs to be gutted out, basically.
That's what I believe.
Hey, Trubs, this is how I feel in a nutshell. Some people are too stupid, too dumb to go to a 4-year university.
I agree
and
with
fucking
you.
Keep getting, I changed my major. You know why? Because you couldn't fucking do mathematics.
I agree, but I think like one part is that the C deal, like it is not true that on the big picture that there's tons of people that have average grades that are just being given free college. That's just not true. It doesn't happen. It may happen in Louisiana. Okay. So like all you can really do is like appeal to your congressman that this is a waste of taxpayer money.
Okay.
But if most people agree with you, then it should change.
People in financial need get to go to college, man. I'll have to Google it if it's free, but I believe it is. People that are suffering in this country get shit. Free education, free house, free food, free.
But I would say, so as long as we are investigating whether these people are squandering that taxpayer money, because it's not actually free. The truth is it's subsidized by taxpayers. So that's why you have a problem with it. So the issue is, I have no problem with them getting assistance if they're trying to dig themselves out of a hole, and then they become productive members of society. So the question is, are they doing that? And that's where we might
drop. This is where not only do I have an issue with the misappropriation of taxpayer money, I have a big issue with what's being done to the youth of this country. Like I said, I'll say it again. Some of these kids are too stupid to go into college. They need to be getting degrees, certificate. Go get a degree in LPN. You know, I got a drafting degree. I mean, not degree, a certificate. I had a great fucking life.
No, I absolutely. If your main point is that we shouldn't push college on everyone, 100%. It's not for everyone. Like,
are you saying you were too dumb to complete a bachelor's degree, or what are you saying right now?
No, you want to know the truth? I got laid too much, JT, and I won't say what sex. I'll let you figure that out.
You were too busy getting fucked by dudes in the ass that you couldn't complete a fucking bachelor's degree. Okay.
Sure, if you want to believe that, you faggot.
Well, when you put it that way. Pushed into a universe.
Was I hitting on you? Oh, I wasn't hitting on you because I don't like you, so don't take
on me?
it wrong.
No, not on me. No, I don't think you could stand the idea of that.
You're right, JT.
So I am similar in that it's for a different reason. I didn't really care much about sex when I was younger. I cared about partying and just fucking around and just having fun. But the point is I didn't really give a shit about schooling. And as a result, see, this is where I think hopefully we'll agree. To some extent, I made my own bed. And I don't blame other people. I don't go like I'm a fucking victim, because it was my own choices that led me down that path. So, yeah, I think we're similar, at least in that regard. But it's not like you were fucked or anything. You can still have a successful life, and it sounds like you did.
He's like, it's not like you were fucked. You just went to grade school.
I wasn't fucked, but
well, that's what I'm saying. You weren't fucked. You actually.
Look, man, there's nothing wrong with picking up a trade. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
Shit, a lot of people are doing it, and especially with the way AI is about to take over all the jobs anyway.
Well, I think we're going to eventually end up with universal basic income. There's no way around it.
It's gonna, yeah. What alternative is there? Unless
so the argument is not like if, but it's when. It's like, how long is it going to take? That's where we don't know.
Let me ask you this, Trobs, with universal basic income, would that be flat or on a sliding scale?
So it depends on what we don't know is the answer, but I can tell you what I would agree with.
Like
I do not agree with like.
I'm sure it would be sliding. It would be
I think meritocracy there still needs to be merit. Otherwise, no one would do anything. So you still need to be
merit in a world where humans are obsolete. What merit? At that point, everyone's equally useless, like in a world like that.
So you can quit working and go live off the government and draw pictures. Okay.
It'd be a perfect way to control like a population.
It would. That's the danger. Is because if things work the same way they do now, AI will be all manufacturing and everything, and AI will be owned by the richest people, which means they're in control of everything.
Yeah, which means they're in control of you.
Yeah, so what the fuck are you going to do? Like, the only power we have when I'm talking about everybody here, or Rash is not included because he's retired, but like the only power we have in our current system is our well, okay, sorry. Both of you. So with JT and I, our only leverage is our work. That's it. like what we can bring to the table with our wage labor. Like that's it. And so if we lose that, we have nothing. Like they control everything. And that's a dangerous fucking thing. I think we need to do something about like leveraging AI and how like rich people control it and shit.
Well, you know something, Trobs, and you did it yourself, even when you were stocking shelves. You tried to make yourself invaluable. And that's what I've done through a working career. I made it so I wouldn't be the first one to go, that I was an asset and I was compensated.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The problem is, I don't think we're going to be able to do that much longer because we cannot compete with what will be
Dude,
AI.
not unless we integrate. And at that point, we're not going to. At that point, there's no telling what's going to even happen after that. Like,
Right.
That's going to happen after all this.
Right.
This stuff would happen before that.
But even if we integrate, then what would be the difference? There's
no telling what kind of stuff would be happening after we do that because we're going to be way more advanced than we would be now. We wouldn't even know what.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
Right.
It's like a bell curve. Like it's suddenly going straight up now. Like we can't predict what's going to happen at that point. That's why they call it singularity, like technological singularity. Like.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible to gauge it. It's all pure speculation at this point. Like
at that point, yes, but the what's not speculation is that it is going to get to that point.
Yes, and all I can go is based on what I've known so far, and I can use just as an anecdote. I thought AI, like we first heard about AI not too long ago, and I'm like, okay, we've got probably 15, 20 years.
Nope.
It jumped so fucking quickly that even the hardcore AI experts were wrong and how quickly it's moving. And like, there's no telling. Like,
and that's just what the public is allowed to know.
That's true. And now we have fucking DeepSeek, which is China's AI, which has blown everything we've heard of out of the water. It's actually destroyed America's AI market, at least for now.
Basically shitting on OpenAI.
I heard about that. It's some chip that's gonna like double the microprocessing or something.
But it's doing so with weaker microchips. Somehow we don't understand it, but they have found a way.
The same basis. It just
sort of.
I guess it can be loaded with. It can handle more information quicker. More like the human brain.
Yes,
in that direction.
The interesting thing is it's doing so without as cutting edge technology microchips, which I don't understand it. How do they do it? If we learn from them, then we can make ours better. But I don't know.
I saw the headline. I didn't really read it.
I
heard about it, but I didn't look into it too much. All I heard was that it's basically better than OpenAI or ChatGPT.
Now, Travis, let me ask you this: how do you feel about this? It's not global warming. It's not global cooling. What is it they call it now?
They call it climate change now.
Yeah, climate change.
So,
what's your feeling like about this, and how people like Al Gore have been talking about decades, and AOC, we're going to be dead in 5 more years.
So
what's your feeling about that?
So I believe some people exaggerate it, but the foundation of it is science, and there are people that literally go to school for years to deal with this. And so there's two parts of this. So one is there people exaggerating shit. The answer is yes. So two, is climate change real? Factually, absolutely yes. And are human beings like part of it and making this worse? Yes is the answer. So the question is, how much are they exaggerating? This is the problem when people lie for like political reasons. It makes it to where people can't fucking tell where the truth is.
That's the whole point of everything now. Like, I think personally, if I had to guess, I'd say they're just doing some kind of fucking weather manipulation. And they want to blame it on the people. I mean, but that's so fucking far out there. We could say.
Yeah.
But
so that's the problem with this whole time period right now. I call this the disinformation age, because we have so much of an overabundance of information, but it's not all factual.
But that's intentional, though. All this junk information out there that's on purpose. Like
it probably is, but either way, it's a problem.
Drops. I asked you this before.
I believe it's by design.
When do you think Martha Vineyard would flood? That's where all like the rich people live.
Honestly, I don't know anything about that. I haven't heard the original claim about it.
When would New York City flood?
I don't know. I don't know anything about that, honestly.
If you had to guess, could you
Uh,
venture again?
I couldn't even, like, honestly, I have to be humble enough to know that I am so fucking stupid in this area that I can't even, like, I'll admit that to some extent,
I would say likewise about myself, but I would
right.
venture a guess of thousands of years. Thousands. That's my
I,
guess.
From
I
what?
wouldn't even say that because I'm not confident enough in it. Like I don't have, like, I have to admit that I don't even have the beginnings, like the beginning traces of understanding to even understand how it, like, the seawater rises in the first damn place, like due to whatever it is, like
Well,
Antarctica warming or whatever. I don't know anything about it, so I can't even make a
well,
rough guess. And like if I knew a little
I
more,
guess Al Gore knows a lot.
maybe he
Like-
does,
like-
or
like-
maybe he's doing it for political reasons. He could be lying. I don't know. That's the problem. Like,
How
I
about
don't know.
how about financial reasons?
That's possible as well, but I will say there's far more financial reason to lie on the other side because big oil is probably the richest industry on the planet. Rash could attest to that.
I'm just worried about Al Gore. I was worried about
So
Al Gore in particular and his like fear mongering.
he might be fear mongering, and well, it's a fact.
Well,
that
the thing is, like the rate, it's like what Liz is saying down there in the chat.
Yes.
Like it's the rate. Suddenly, it's going up way faster than it was, or like that the weather's changing faster.
Yes, and
Way
it's happening.
faster. I don't see any change down here. I mean, I
Well,
guess we had a snowstorm. I guess that's
well,
global cooling.
no. You got to understand how things work. So
Well, they measure it.
Yeah.
the climate changing.
Explain to me how this weather thing works. That's a good
Okay.
idea.
So I don't know everything, but I can at least touch on the cooling part because people are like,
Uh,
if there's global warming, how come it's cold right here, right now? And that's like, it's a
That's what
misunderstanding of how this
They're
works.
not calling it global warming anymore. They're calling it climate change.
Well, true, but also it is still warming. They didn't change it because that wasn't true. They changed it to make it because people were misunderstanding what they meant. Like, it is true that the last several years, each year have been higher average temperatures than the year before, every single time. So we are getting warmer. That's a fact. That's not anyone's opinion. But that does not
Yeah.
mean that every single place on the planet is going to be blazing at all times. Weather is not climate, and that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, they're saying that certain,
Sector,
it's getting colder, and that it's also getting like record colds too, as well as like record highs.
Yes, and we can explain that as well.
Well,
So,
yeah. So climate change is a catch-all. No matter what fucking happens, it's climate change.
It's not a
Haven't
catch-all
you
because
noticed that, Trobs? Every weather event is climate change.
well,
Come on, man.
it's because we can point to it occurring at greater degrees than it ever has in the past. Like random, like. Go ahead.
Okay. If we can misread a cold spell, as you just explained, and misinterpret it, how come we can't misinterpret the temperature for
This is the point
two?
this is the point I was trying to make. That cold spell is not misinterpreted. So, like, right now, we just recently, a week ago, had this massive cold front that happened. That is actually due, at least in part, to climate change. And then you go, why? It's cold, not warm.
In part,
So let me explain. So
in part,
there's this massive,
bro.
like,
the
pocket.
climate changes.
What?
The climate changes. Everybody should know that at this point.
No, but it's not just that it changes. It's driven by man-made climate change, and we can prove it. So the reason why is because there's a pocket of air above, I guess, the North Pole region area. I could be wrong on the exact area. I don't know all the details. But what happens is the warmth, the general warmth of the Earth keeps that area locked in. So that pocket of air, cold, really cold air, stays there. But because it's been going up, it has shifted and it's pushed cold fronts into areas that would not otherwise occur. So, so you can't make things as simple as, oh, it's cold, not hot, so global warming's not real.
So what's the danger to humanity? What's the danger to humanity?
Well, it depends on how much is hyperbole and how much is true, and I can't answer that for you because I don't know. But I do believe, well, it's a fact that man-made shit contributes to climate change, and that it's probably going to cause problems. What I'm not can't claim as a fact is the rate at which it's doing so and how long we have before it's irreversible and all that. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not an expert.
As far as I can tell, there's both warming and cooling going on, which is why they call it climate change now. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. This
But
year we're gonna have
even the
hurricane.
cooling, the point I was trying to get at, even the cooling is caused by global warming. It just doesn't, it's counterintuitive, but that's how it works.
It gets colder because it got warmer.
Well, let me
Yes.
ask you
Yeah.
this, guys.
I know it
mean,
sounds
because
crazy.
it's cold because it's really warm.
I know it sounds crazy. You go like,
Yeah,
that don't
that's
make
what
any
I'm
sense.
saying.
but
Why
that's
am
how
I
it
so
works.
cold? Because you're warm.
No. Okay. So
Yeah.
the warmth,
All I
the
know, I
warmth
haven't,
in
I
one
haven't noticed
region.
any change in the weather down here. I mean, we had a bad snow a week or so ago, but that happens every decade or so. But other than that, it's, I'm sitting around in my shorts, at the beginning of February. It's what I do every year. It's what I've always done.
Right.
So
When we're talking about, you got to understand, let's for a
They
second
are
say
kind
that
of gay looking shorts.
let's for a second say that we are contributing to the changes in the climate that would not happen if we weren't here. Let's say that for the sake of argument, just for a second. What would you expect to see? It would happen at a gradual pace. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, all of a sudden I'm roasting to death. No, it would happen to where you would gauge average temperatures across an entire year, across the entire planet, and they would rise like by a degree or maybe slightly less per year. That is
Right.
what we're seeing. That's exactly what's happening.
A degree a year? You fucking
No.
not.
That's me throwing out a random thing. I'm not saying that it's happening at a degree a year,
Right.
but it is changing every single year, and we have a huge body of evidence to point that is caused by
Trumps, say next year it goes down a little. What would the argumentation be for that?
Well, it could be if it
Or
goes
is
down a
that an
little. Then
impossibility?
I'm not
Or
going
is
to
that
say
an
that's impossible. I wouldn't say it's an impossibility, but there are many countries that are fighting for like carbon emissions and stuff and trying to get net neutral. And it's possible that we can fucking curb it to an extent. And if so, that's great. So if it goes down,
do
it
we
could
need
be.
India's help? Could India help in this quest?
I don't know what India's doing. Like, is your point that they're not really trying to go
Well, you'd
greener
have to
or something?
it's fucked up.
It's what?
It's pretty fucked up. The
So
United States is doing fine. It's countries like India and China, for example, that are really, if you want to point a finger, that's who you need to be pointing at.
well,
Not the United
China.
States.
Hold on. China may do a lot of like industrial pollution. At least they did. They're actually making the biggest strides of anyone on the planet to go green, like of anyone
So
by far.
China gets a pass.
No, it's not a pass. They're actively trying to change, and we're not. We're like drill, baby, drill. We're not trying to change at all.
We're not.
Well, I wouldn't say
we haven't cut down like on emissions, like in cars and coal plants and wood. We haven't.
I wouldn't say that we've done absolutely nothing. I won't say we've done nothing, but in comparison to China, we've done nothing. Well, let's put it that way. Literally, Trump is trying to get rid of any sort of
industrial revolution. That was a long time ago, Rash. Excuse.
I didn't see Rash's point that time.
He said Europe started the industrial revolution. I guess China did.
But I mean, even if we're going to say that it's humans that are doing it, like obviously, like who would be more responsible, us or like the corporations? Like, obviously.
So what I would say, and a lot of people hate this, especially libertarians won't like it. We need more government, at least more regulations. We have to hold companies, corporations accountable and not allow them to do whatever the fuck they want. It's the only way. Like, because right now they can do whatever the fuck they want. They just
And
pay
are we
off
throwing
fucking-
out the possibility of government controlled weather manipulation? I mean, there's that too.
So I don't believe that's a legit. I don't. There are some Republicans that believe that.
I'm just saying, are we throwing that out like it's not a possibility?
Oh, okay. You're talking about like future tech.
No. I'm saying like
discuss it. I'll listen.
I'm saying possible current tech that we might not know about. Is that possible? Are we saying
Okay. I don't believe that exists. There are like some Republican people that said that like you could use cloud seeding to get rid of the fires in California.
No, I mean just like weather like a way to fucking manipulate the weather that we don't know about. Like something.
They're trying. I think
So
they're trying.
I'm open to the possibility. I don't think we have it yet.
Yeah, are we closed off to the possibility? Is all I'm asking.
I'm not closed off to the possibility. At
No,
all.
I think cloud seeding actually exists.
What,
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Why?
I'm just saying. I'm just talking in a broad sense. Like
Jewish space lasers.
What is that? What are they talking about?
Put some kind of aluminum shit or something into the clouds.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I was just saying. Like,
so weather modification is possible to some degree.
Well, something to look at. I'm pretty sure.
So what do they mean by modification?
I don't know. I'm not sure what they mean by that.
Drops. Let me just say this because we're kind of shifting gears. Do you know how small of a tiny little we are? A whole timeline of the existence of this planet. How
extremely tiny.
Insignificant.
Extremely tiny.
And how many cold ice ages and heat spells we've been through, but yeah, I guess the climate's changing. I don't know. I don't see us as a huge player in it. That's just my take.
Well,
do we have a play in it? Absolutely. Is the weather changing? Absolutely.
So to some extent, I think this will go back to trust. So I trust in experts that literally, like, they spend their whole lives on this. And those experts say that we are heavily involved in the climate change. So I get it if you think like that's some sort of conspiracy, like you think that they're trying to sell shit or what I don't know. Well, like, what do you believe? Do you think those experts are like in a conspiracy or something? Like, why do you think that all of the climate? Go ahead.
Just earlier, you and JT were arguing that on both sides of the aisle, corporations are trying to deceive us. Wouldn't they be doing the same with weather change?
Yeah, but that's not
where y'all lose me.
But that's not corporations. We're talking about like education. We're talking about people that literally spend their life being educated on this topic, and they're all saying the same thing.
No. I'm talking about people like AOC, and I'm earlier his name.
But you gotta
they're
understand
detecting changes in the climate for sure.
Yes, so
like,
this is
they're using instruments and shit to detect it. The question is why. The question is, what is it actually being caused by? Is it people? Well, what exactly is it that's causing it? That's what they're.
My last point I'm trying to make is y'all been talking about deceit by corporations, deceit by the government. How about deceit on weather phenomenon? Is that possible, or do y'all pull that one out? Do y'all cherry pick that one?
It's possible, but it wouldn't be called cherry picking because you're not skeptical for no reason. You're skeptical because there's evidence to give you reason to be skeptical. So that don't mean you just distrust everything.
What is he
world.
asking?
He's go ahead. You can reword it if you want, Andy.
Earlier, Jake, you implied something about corporations involving India. I've heard you numerous times mention corporations and government and how I or we or anybody don't know what the fuck's going on, but that, they're controlling things. And I've heard similar from tribes. My question to the two of you is how come that logic doesn't apply to the weather?
And my answer was that you can't assume that everything is equally being fucked with. Like, To me, that's
Well, I
two
told you
steps.
I do think that there's a strong possibility that there is weather manipulation going on. That aside from what we're talking, like actual like weather manipulation technology that we're not aware of. I do. I said that, but everybody doesn't think that.
Right.
Right. But my question is that what they want you to, you keep, like under control? How not being controlled now, JT?
So, but before we go further on this, I have to have you answer a question for me, and either of you can answer this. Do you believe it's possible to be too open-minded? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I
I do
believe
too.
that sometimes people are so open-minded that they're open to like conspiracies to where people will shove shit, like Alex Jones type people will try to like
It's fucking
throw
wishy-washy.
complete
It
crazy
depends on
shit.
if it's without reason, and even still, a lot of
Exactly.
things,
It
a
all
lot
it
of
all
things,
comes back to evidence. That's what you mean when you say reason. So
yeah. I mean, like there needs to be a reason for this, like that they're saying that, like
absolutely. And so
some,
that would be my answer to your question, Andy, with the weather deal. So I have
Right.
no reason, I have no evidence to suggest that weather is fake. I don't like I'm not just going to assume that without any reasoning. Like to me that's
So
going too far.
I'll tell you what. Let's look at
I wouldn't say
Alex
that it's
Jones
fake.
and
No.
whoever and Al Gore. We can look at those guys as outlier nutcases and kind of throw those two out the mix because they both are nuts from two different sides of the aisle. So they kind
Maybe.
of cancel each other out.
I don't know. I'll just go with you for now. Like I don't know a lot about what Al Gore ran on and like the things he said.
No. Look what he ran
I know
on.
he was like really heavy about
Look at
global
his
warming.
predictions for the past 30 years.
I know nothing about it, so I'll just take your word on it.
Google it right now. Wow.
I kind of want to. I don't know if I want
Open-minded.
to. No, I kind of wanted to go back to the immigration thing real quick. I wanted to ask Rob, like,
Okay,
do
go ahead.
you
By the
have
way,
any?
we're getting close to 3 hours. I'm going to be shutting down very soon, so we need to wrap up. But go ahead and ask your question.
Let's say, what do you think about or do you even have an opinion on basically like the civil unrest side of things, as far as like the whole deportation act, as far as like Hispanic populations feeling like unease or like
So,
like
what do you mean? Like, do I think that's a good or bad thing? Is that what you're asking?
what do you think about it in general? I guess is what I'm asking.
So, big picture, what do I think about civil unrest? Like, because of
What do you think about the whole phenomenon that's going on right now? Like with the rhetoric about the people are afraid now. Like there's people afraid to go
Okay,
outside.
so I believe that I would be afraid if I were in their position. And by the way, in California, early on the very first day in California, 75% of all farmers wouldn't show up to work because they were afraid they were going to get raided by ICE. And so we already have a massive issue with produce. And they supply, by the way, like I can't remember, 1/3 of all of the oranges and some other fruit in the entire United States. This is massive. And this is happening on a countrywide level. It's happening in pockets, like they're hitting one area and then another. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm just saying, oh well, and let the fruit rock. If they can't get somebody else, then they'll all rock it.
Right, I get it. So I disagree with that because I care about the economy and I care
Yeah,
if
you
like
want your fruit, I know.
not just fruit, it affects everything. This is manufacturing, big time manufacturing, meat processing. That they did a lot of
Well, you
construction
mentioned
work.
farmer.
We're at a part right now, like a point that we're going to have the biggest pull away of like what do you call it, trade, like labor in history since the Depression. No, wait, that's the wrong way to word it. It's going to cause the economy to hit a depression like the Depression, but it's the biggest. It's like a rug pull of like, how are we going to replace all of this labor that's getting jerked out all of a sudden? Like, it's going to for sure cause a massive fucking issue economically. Like,
Well, the education system better fucking get on the ball.
yeah. I mean, that's a fair point as long as you acknowledge what's happening. I mean, if you go, I don't care, I mean, there's nothing you can say to that. You don't have to care. But personally,
No,
I
I don't
think
care
it's
about
I think it's
illegals being
terrible.
shipped out.
But the reason why I have an issue is because you compare the two sides. So if I were to look at things from the general standpoint of someone who has a problem with illegal people, it's just that they're illegal. That's it. So the crime shit, it's all fake. We've proven that it's all like lies, not true. So all it is
How do you
that
know
they're
that,
illegal.
Rob? No, I
So
want to
so
know how
on
you know that. I want to
because
know
Well,
how
I've
you know that.
the thing is, they say the priorities on criminals and sex offenders
You
and
know
violent
that
crime.
because guess what? They would lie to you. What do you think? They
oh
walk
my
around with
god.
prison
Well, the
records?
problem
Of course
is
they're
it's
gonna
not just
fucking lie.
limited. It's not just limited to criminals. It's limited to all undocumented immigrants, which is
Right.
why
So
everybody's like,
we have
nervous.
statistics for this, and then you go, oh, that's all lies. Like, dude, at that point you can believe whatever you want because everything's fake. Like,
Exactly.
at some point you have to
Exactly. Both
rely on
sides.
some sort of
Both.
no.
There you go. At some point, you got to pick.
That's what I tell
But
you. He
but this
loses the plot to the point
but
where
this
I fucking lose the
exactly.
interest.
But this is the point. You can't just live in a world where everything's fake. At some point, you have to rely on some kind of authority. I rely on the expertise of people that their entire job is to collect data. And those people
Same here.
say, and those
Same here.
people, these experts that do these statistics and compile them say that in the United States, white people, on average, commit far more violent crime than illegal immigrants, like to an extreme extent. And
Do
they
you
are
think illegal
basically,
immigrants tell the truth about their background?
it has nothing to do with what people
Where
tell
you're
them as
saying
the
that?
truth. So
Well,
we
yeah,
get
I
that
would say most of the illegals are trying to keep a low profile because they're not trying to be
exactly.
deported. Like that's why.
Exactly. So what you're trying to
So how
say
do you
is, do
get
you think
accurate?
that they're
My
going to be
point is,
honest about it?
my point
Which,
is the data's not accurate.
but it
Obviously,
is
the data's
accurate, and
not
I'll,
Well,
accurate.
no, what they're saying is that the majority of them are trying to keep a low profile so that they do not get deported. Like, not that
yes,
that's
it
not
makes
them.
sense, and that's what the data supports. But then you're like, the data's not accurate. But let me explain. Like your point, at least you started, Andy, by saying that, like, do you think that they're being honest? Do you think our data is based on people word of mouth saying, "Hey, I'm a criminal"? No, it's based on them actually getting booked. And
criminal
what
record.
they
Yeah, do
did,
they have a fucking record or
exactly.
not?
Like these are extremely objective. Like this is
Oh,
not fake
oh,
shit that we made up.
oh. Well, I don't know. I haven't looked. I'll follow. Now my mistake. I apologize. Oh, you mean based on arrest records? I don't know. I would agree with JT. They're probably laying low. I wouldn't discount what you're saying, but I don't see it as. I don't get your point. So what?
Well, the
It's
problem
meaningless.
is the point is like a lot of the Hispanic community and population is nervous now. The undocumented ones are nervous because even if they're not, even if they don't have criminal records, they're nervous because they're undocumented, and that's
Yeah,
on
they're
record.
still going to get deported because,
No, you
well,
mean the illegal? You mean they're illegal? You mean they broke the United
Undocumented,
States
illegal
federal law?
illegal is the same as undocumented. That's what I'm referring to. Illegal immigrant,
Okay,
undocumented immigrant.
as long as we're on the same page, I
Yeah,
call them
illegal is the same
illegal.
as
So we're
undocumented. Yeah,
talking
they don't
about
have
the same
documents.
group
They're
of
not legal.
so
Yeah.
that's one of the issues I had early on is when Trump ran, and he may not have intentionally done this, I don't know, but he was very vague and said that we were going to get rid of illegals, right? So a lot of illegal immigrants voted for Donald Trump because they took that a different way. They thought they meant like he meant
Wait a
like
second. What do you mean illegal aliens vote Trump? What the fuck are you talking about?
it's actually, well, oh sorry, hold on, you're right. So let me change that to Hispanic voters. Hispanic voters, according in comparison to the past, drastically voted Trump this election. So what they thought, obviously Hispanic people aren't going to be cool with getting rid of like illegal immigrants. What they thought when he said getting rid of illegals was that they meant like violent criminals and shit, and those make all immigrants look bad. So they're fine with that.
Well, they fucked up.
Well, the thing
didn't
is, they
they?
kind of threw
They
in
fucked up.
They threw in everybody in that.
Exactly, but they didn't realize that. But I do believe. I'm not saying
Well,
Trump
I
lied
cannot
necessarily.
believe.
Well,
Then
you know, the
what?
thing is, and I would be curious because it's the way that it's worded so ambiguously. It's done that on purpose. I'm pretty
He may
fucking
have.
sure.
All
He may
bullshit
have.
on this whole line
And
of
I
argumentation.
feel like it was worded that way to cause this kind of unrest right now, like this.
Possibly.
I think, and I feel like it was done that way on intentionally. Like, and I would be curious to see. I'd be curious to see
how you
many.
can conflate the term I'm gonna deport illegal aliens. I do not see how that becomes a conflated statement.
He didn't say illegal aliens.
Well,
He
no,
said
because he said he was going to be basically his focus was going to be illegals that are here that have criminal records, particularly violent sexual crimes. Like those were
I see
those,
what you're saying. Right,
those would be the priority, but the way.
Listen to this. If I get
but
on
you're
the
not letting me
internet
finish.
right now, can I find him saying that he's gonna deport
But
illegals?
you're not letting me finish.
I've seen it numerous fucking times. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, but you're not like, you gotta let me finish what I'm saying.
No,
The problem is
ridiculous, JT. It's cherry picking. It's
no, it's not. I'm trying to complete. I'm trying to say what I'm. You gotta let people talk, man. Like you don't know what I'm trying to say.
You're misleading, though. You're misleading.
No, I'm not misleading anything. I'm telling you. I can put it in the chat because I don't think you understand. Give me 1 second.
I don't think you can put your point across. I can't read.
Well, I've been trying to, but you've been talking over me the whole time, and I can't really speak at the same time.
That well. I can't read that well, JT.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck no. See, the whole thing is Tribes lets me talk here.
I do until it kind of gets really out of hand.
Right. Yeah. Of course Rain wants me to shut up. Of course.
So basically, what I'm trying to say is that even though the priority is on paper is that the priority is criminals, it's also open to any illegal immigrants, meaning non-criminals as well. Exactly. That's the point. That's the part of it that's got everybody nervous.
That's what the illegal immigrant means.
Right,
JT.
but it's originally what they thought was that the focus, and they still say that.
Who thought?
That's what the Hispanic voting population.
You're playing word games. You're playing word salad.
Well, no. That's the point.
No, he's not listening, dude.
That's the whole point. It is word salad because it's ambiguous. Right. So people took it in two different ways.
You can look on YouTube right fucking now. Right now, you can look. And you'll find him saying that at least a half dozen times.
I'm not attacking Trump. I'm not saying, I don't know if he meant to mislead people or not. Maybe
the wording is left like that on purpose. Come on.
It was vague.
He would have omitted that part. No, it's clearly put there on purpose to let people know, hey, it's not just subject to criminals. It's subject to all illegals. And they want
to tell you this much then. If you want to argue this over and over, guess what? Shame on those people. Shame on their stupidity. Shame on them.
Whose stupidity? Who? The immigrants?
The illegal aliens. Yeah, the stupid illegal
Dude, why are they stupid? We're telling them, hey, you can come here and live here and we'll give you money for doing it.
No. That's your interpretation, JT.
No. That's how it is. We have sanctuary cities that incentivize them to come live there, like California and shit like that. We are letting them through. There's no way they would be getting through in the numbers that they are if we were not allowing that to happen. So we are allowing that to happen behind the scenes. We pretend we have an immigration problem. We created the fucking problem.
Stupid immigrants.
No, we want them here because we can pay them. We can pay them less than we would pay they're doing stuff. They're doing stuff for less money in working conditions that would not be allowed otherwise.
Bolsters the economy because it's not like they're
right because then they're spending money in the economy.
Yeah, I believe that the overwhelming preponderance of evidence that we have so far economically shows that illegal immigration is tied with prosperity for the entire nation. There is no negativity here. A Trump-tarred wife is whining her British husband got deported. I've seen some of those videos. I hadn't watched them yet, because it's sort of like anecdotal. I think it's just looking to like put a spotlight on these people because they voted. They were Trump voters and then they got fucked over. But like,
So help me out, Tom. How can we get rid of all these illegal aliens?
how can we what?
Get rid of all these illegal aliens.
Well, I
How
don't.
can we logistically? That's fucking almost impossible, right?
It's almost impossible. But
Plus-
for one, we have to go. Do we want to? Me personally, I think that they help more than they hurt. So
Right.
the only reason I would want to get rid of illegal immigrants is if they were causing crime. If like right now, Trump is starting with mainly people that we know are causers of crime, I'm fine with that. I have a problem with his big picture, like phase 2, when he starts getting rid of people just because they're undocumented. I think
Well,
that's going to hurt us.
It's the
Well,
It's
we'll
the
have
way
to
it's
adjust,
worded.
Tom. I have faith in our country.
I get you, but like personally, I don't have faith in Donald Trump.
Right. Well, you know what, Jobs? Over half this nation pretty much agrees with me.
well.
That's not necessarily true.
And you can say what you want. No,
So-
no,
so,
no, no.
hold
no.
on,
You
hold
gotta
on, hold
look
on.
at the polls, Jobs. You got to look at the polls.
That's what I'm going with. His actually Trump's current, what's it called? How well he's favored. His
Popularity?
something rating. Maybe basically
Is
popularity.
that its all-time highest?
No,
right?
no. It's at the lowest any president has ever been. Ever. Like he has the lowest rating right now. Look it up of anyone.
And what? Wait a second.
Why was he voted in then?
Overall,
Like,
are you saying in his overall popularity? Are you saying
how
in
could
his
how could he not be popular if he was voted in? Like,
I can explain that.
Oh.
So this is what there's an issue. It's like a fallacious reasoning.
and you wonder why I don't believe in the electoral system, but let's hear it.
I'll explain. So there's this belief that if someone votes for someone, they're a supporter of that person. That's not true. In fact, a vast majority of votes are lesser of two evil votes, right?
Right. They think Trump's the lesser two evils.
Because of the economy was the main deal. They're not big Trump hardcore MAGA people. That's a tiny percentage of the population.
But they thought he would be better for the economy than Kamala Harris.
That is true. However,
for whatever reason.
However, they're currently, over the past week, it's only been a brief period of time, they have learned that was a fucking lie. Like the price of eggs have skyrocketed. The entire economy is shot down. AI surged in.
Well, dude, people are not having faith in it right now because
that's true, but that's the same reason why they voted for Trump, because
Biden
was being.
But then again, we're only like a week in.
That's true. That's true. But that's all we have is the polls of his approval rating right now. It's possible that of course it'll fluctuate. Maybe they'll like him again in like another week or two.
Well, I mean, it would probably take a little while. I think what's making people nervous right now is this, and it's also causing people it's causing ripples in the fucking economy because of the Hispanic population right now. It's like super on edge about this deportation act that he's talking. That's really.
And that's causing a huge economic ripple as well. People just
aren't working. That's what I mean. Like, because they're spending, they're not out and about right now. Like, they're trying to keep low, like, profile. So they're not out there spending money. They're not out there like what they would normally be doing. Like,
and well, there's reasons why I don't trust him. It's not just Trump bad, like Orange Man bad. Like he has a history of lying for one, and two, like recently. JD Vance was
politician does it. All politicians
not equally. Right?
Well, the part that I really question, is like, say the kids are here, they're born here under the 14th Amendment, like they're citizens here because they were born here. So it's like, say, but their parents are not. So the parents are illegal, the kids are not. The kids are legal. How do they do? What do they do? They deport their parents and put the kids in the foster system? Like, that's crazy as fuck. Or what do they do?
It's a problem. I don't have an answer to that.
I would say that's a problem. I would say that's a problem.
That's very fucking traumatic, dude. And what do they do?
It is, because these people know that if they're going to come across the border and they're illegal, that at least their children have a shot, because that's what they're fighting for. They want a better life.
It used to mean basically that they're cool to be here too. Like, it's like, because they're not going to separate them from the kids. But now, like that's kind of up in the air. Not to mention, like, I don't know. I heard recently that, and I only heard about it, like, but it suddenly, like, a bunch of, like, 'cause I know they were already separating kids from the families for some whatever reason, which is already weird. But then, like, the kids would go missing and weird shit like that. I don't know if you guys heard about anything like that. Like, but
I don't know anything about it.
Didn't that occur under Biden's watch?
yeah, it did. It sure did. Yeah, but I mean, that to me, that's really suspicious too. Like the whole thing, like
It's
the idea,
absolutely suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea of separating families
about
is
those kids.
really suspicious. Like, and it's yeah.
I mean,
All right.
you hate to hear that shit.
Yes, well, I think we're at like a little bit of a break here, so it's a good time. I'm gonna run forever because I just get into fucking talking, and so I'm gonna shut down for this week. I'll see you guys next week if you're available.
All right. See
Take
y'all
it
next
easy.
time.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.